Christopher Nolan, also known as
Christimepher Nolan.
Christimepher Nolan. You know, a lot of people say that Christopher Nolan isn't a very talented writer. You know, you hear that thrown around. He's a better writer than that. He would never write something so awful.
I think probably a genius might have wrote that.
Yeah.
Like 200 IQ.
200 IQ genius, Christimepher Nolan. Well, whose idea was that actually?
I don't know. It must have been a genius.
It was actually my idea. I took your idea and then I made it better. Because you just said Christopher, middle name Time Nolan, which I don't even know what his middle name is, if it's a T.
I don't know.
If it is, then that's more clever. But Christimepher Nolan.
Now that is something.
Now that's 201 IQ. But we're here. Episode, oh God, I actually legitimately have no idea. 13?
I think it's 12.
12. That doesn't sound right. I think it's 13. 12, I don't know.
No, there's no way because I'm pretty sure it's 12, but could be 13 possibly.
13 is an unlucky number.
We could do 12 and a half.
No. It's going to be whatever it is. We just don't know because we're bad hosts of our show.
Yeah.
Unless you want to check. I mean, I don't care.
No, it's fine. Well,
Yeah, it's
I guess, I mean, I can just like kind of quickly just go while we chill.
Hey, it's up to you. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about Christopher Nolan and all of his films. Fun fact, we have officially, as of today, both of us seen all of his feature-length movies. And that's kind of like a first, I think, of actually seeing everything.
Right? I know.
I haven't seen his short films, but, you know.
Can you believe it?
They can be kind of hard to get sometimes. I actually didn't look them up. They might be easy, but who knows. But yeah, first seeing them all. So it's a real start to end. You'll get the full package here.
It is 13.
It is 13. Yo. Okay,
It's
cool.
not very fair, in my opinion.
Why is that?
Okay, no, it's fair. I swear it was 12.
Yeah, well, we all want to forget the Transformers, I think. So that's
Right, I forgot that's what we talked about last week.
it's fair for you to forget. But Christopher Nolan's this week in our spotlight, every single movie.
In the spotlight.
Spotlight. Very excited to talk about it. You know
why we're here.
You know why we're here. We'll get more into him later. But for now, we're going to talk about what we've seen for the past
fortnight.
Since the last episode. And I guess I'll start today. That's a little... Usually you start, but...
We're mixing it up.
We'll mix it up. Good for old Chris. Do you think you prefers Chris or Christopher? Christopher's kind of a mouthful. Like, you need that many syllables?
I would probably say Chris.
Yeah.
If I, like, saw him, I would be like, hey, you're Chris Nolan.
Oh, I would
and
say...
He'd be like, fuck off, you wanker.
I'd probably say Mr. Nolan. Hey, Mr. Nolan. Doctor.
I guess that's...
I don't know.
Doctor.
He's not doctor. Unless he is.
No.
Okay. He's a doctor of time.
Time.
He's a time lord.
Dr. Time.
Like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Time lords. There you go. He'd be a good choice. I don't know if he can act, but he has the look for it. He's got that, kind of British. He looks very
Well, he
British.
can just cast somebody to play him like he always does.
That's true. Anyway, my week. Let's get these over with, even though they're actually going to be pretty lengthy. So buckle up.
Well,
I want to get this out of the way. I played a video game. I watched plenty of stuff, but I also played a video game. I beat a video game, more specifically.
nice.
And the video game I'm talking about is Horizon Zero Dawn, which came out a while ago.
My favorite.
But I finally got around to it. And the DLC. I got around to completing it all. I actually platinumed it, which was an accident. But, what happens.
Nice.
It was good. I understand why everybody likes it.
Oh, you're about to rag on my favorite game?
But it reminded me of The Witcher 3 in a certain way. Because it kind of has the thing where...
Everything
and no
loops
spoilers
back
here.
to that damn game.
Yeah, I know. But it was just kind of weird because open world, well, you get it. But the last thing that you do in The Witcher 3, or sort of last, is you do kind of like collect all your people from your travels and get them together for like a battle.
Avengers.
Yeah. And I didn't really feel that much when it happened in Horizon. I was just like, oh, right, these people. And the characterization of them, I guess, wasn't as good. And there's another thing with this game. Everything that I'm not going to talk about is great. I love it. I just want to talk about the two negative things. There's a thing they do where they give you multiple choices of dialogue.
Smart.
You got like the clever, you got compassionate, and you got like angry.
Be mean, be a bitch.
And then you got sometimes like cancel the conversation.
Right.
Like literally just walk away.
Yeah.
And I thought those choices, I kind of wish they weren't there. Because the way I played the game, and I'd love to talk to you about this, specifically how your experience was, I played Aloy the meanest as possible. I played her super mean. Anybody I could kill, I did.
Oh.
I tried to kill everybody, and I tried to make her really angry. And by the end of the game, it didn't really seem like every time I picked that option, it seemed out of character, even though I was picking that option every single time. It happened, and she would say something like awful, and I'd be like, that really doesn't seem like Aloy. So I did it to myself, in all fairness. I did do it to myself. But it just, they could have made it work, because they do it for The Witcher, where, like, Geralt is really defined, but, you can make him, more money hungry, or you can make him a lot more compassionate, and it still feels like Geralt, where Aloy, just the choices felt really out of character for her. And I was disappointed by that. How did you play her? Did you feel like...
I would just feel the moment out. I would be like, how would Aloy react in this situation?
Yeah.
And I rarely would pick, like, the angry one.
Right, because it doesn't seem like her.
Right, exactly.
So because that's part of the reason why I did it, because she didn't seem like that. So it was kind of like an experiment, and I guess it's one I regret, because it just made me have less fun.
Yeah.
But I hope in the sequel, if they continue doing that, the Forbidden West,
They should just have a kill option. Kill the person you're talking to.
just at any
You
point,
just kill everybody.
that'd be it. I'd pick that every single time. Probably make the last fight a little bit harder. But did you kill people, or did you let them live?
I killed a few people,
Yeah.
but I was nice for the most part. I
Okay.
would mostly killed robots.
Right. Well, I killed way more robots than I did people. But,
Oh yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the game? Just like how you feel about it?
I love the game.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, like, single player open world
Wow.
game.
I had another problem with it, actually.
Oh, here we go. Make me feel bad for
No,
liking something.
It reminded me of the same problem I had with God of War, the new one,
Great game.
which got a teaser for Ragnarok, if
Yeah,
you
it
saw.
did. Yeah, it did.
But the problem with that I had with both these games is that they both really felt like the first game of like a trilogy or a series.
Okay.
So like by the end of Horizon Zero Dawn, I really was upset with the last boss. I thought it wasn't very... I mean, I was over leveled, to be fair, because I did the DLC and everything. But
Right.
it wasn't that engaging.
Oh, you did
to
the
me.
DLC before you finished the main story?
Yeah, because I was told to.
Okay.
And I mean, it seemed like the right thing to do because it just boots you back. Yeah, it felt like both games were like the first game of a series that they had already planned, And God of War, that's very obvious that they would
Right,
do
yeah.
that again. But Horizon Zero Dawn, by the end of it, I was like, the whole thing was silence. I was like, oh, it wasn't very satisfying to see him capture Hades or whatever and be like, oh, we have a lot to talk about. Guardian.
Okay.
I didn't find that very satisfying. Sobek thing, that was wrapped up nice. I liked that. But I guess overall, the little hanging thread that they left felt more like a huge strand of rope left instead of just a thread. I felt like I was missing a lot from the game. But that's all right.
These
It
are
was
fair points.
Yeah, and it didn't, again, come into where it's like, oh, I hate the game now. It's just like, oh, I wish these things could have been better. The actual gameplay, like moment to moment, is addictingly
Awesome.
fun,
Yeah.
especially once you get all the abilities and you can slow down time and get all those super precise shots off and blow off the thing's pieces and take them down. Very gratifying to tame these beasts. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good game.
Great game.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite just because of the characterization. Wasn't too fond of, but still very, very good. I see why everyone's so crazy about it. I get it.
Time for the next game.
Time for the next game, eventually.
Bring it on.
Now let's get into the movies, because I watched some films.
Boo, movies.
Boo. I watched another Ghibli film, because we already talked about Ghibli ones, but not all of them, obviously. I watched
Right.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Does the castle move?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it belongs to Howl.
I just wanted to make sure the castle actually moved.
Yeah, Howl is the character, and he's played by... I watched with the English dub, because the person I was watching it with recommended that, and I would also recommend it. It was very good, and their accents were very cute and British. They were nice. But yeah, it's got Christian Bale as Howl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And it's got Josh Hutcherson as a little kid.
The castle.
No, he's Merrick, I think. I forget. It was a while ago. But he was like a little kid in this. So it's like a little kid. And I didn't even realize it was him until I saw the credits. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
it's
cool.
Josh Hutcherson. He just sounded like a baby. Because it was like 2004 that this film came out.
Interesting.
Pretty sure it was their one right after Spirited Away. Was Howl's Moving Castle.
That would make sense.
Again, really beautiful. Howl is just a dude. He's like a magician man, but like a wizard, not like a magician. Not like the Prestige.
Right.
And there isn't exactly like a plot that's super easy to follow and explain. Basically, this girl gets cursed by a witch, and it makes her turn old, and then she runs into Howl, and they kind of have adventures, and then the movie resolves itself, right?
Right.
And it's very fun to watch. I was always entertained, but like the through line for the plot was a little unclear at times, you know? I was just like, oh, she seems really okay with just like living in this castle that just like she kind of just jumped in, and now she's just like a maid, and she seems really satisfied with that.
Nice.
You know? There's a little fire demon that's very cute. Again, everyone's very cute and just nice to look at. Calcifer is his name.
It's a cool name.
Yeah, it's really cool. And not much negative to say about it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just a fun movie. It's just a fun adventure where you don't think too hard about. There is a world. What was interesting about it is that the world really felt lived in, because there was like a war going on that is barely part of the plot, you know? But it felt like a very real world that they were all, these characters, these magical characters were all existing in. I enjoyed that a lot. A lot of like Arthurian kind of influences in the film, you know?
Cool. I like that stuff.
So, yeah, Christian Bale was fine. Howl's not a very interesting character to me. I was kind of disappointed how much I didn't like Howl. He just kind of is undefined by the end. A little bit. Not too much, but, you know, he's not great. But other than that, good. Highly recommend.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Highly recommend. There's a part where Sophie, the main character, her head covering flies off while the castle's moving, and it was Cowl's moving hassle, because it was a hassle that her cowl was,
very funny.
I thought it was very funny. Anyway, moving on. Watch another film that I'd never seen before. It's called Red Dragon, which is funny, and I'll get to why that's funny 2 hours from now.
Right. Yes, that is funny.
It is a Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs prequel movie. It's a prequel, right?
Wow.
It takes place.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Like immediately before Silence of the Lambs. Like literally the ending of this film is he's in his cell and he's like, hey, there's someone to see you. And he's like, what's her name? Clarice. He's like, yeah, and it's very hot. Anyway, this one is Edward Norton is like a retired detective who actually put Hannibal Lecter in prison. He's
Good
the guy
for
who got
him.
him, you know? And then there's another new murderer, and they're like, we need his help. You need to work with him to catch this guy. And antics ensue, you know, antics, if you can call a murderer slaughtering people and putting mirrors in their head. Antics.
Oh, nice.
That happens. It is... Okay, obviously, if you put it up against Silence of the Lambs, it's going to fall flat.
Right.
You know? But if you really just take it as it's a separate movie and just try to put that out of your head and just enjoy this movie for its merits, it's very enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable flick. The actual villain, like the actual murderer, is not nearly as threatening as the one from Silence of the Lambs.
Buffalo
Bill. He's not really as threatening, and his backstory is, I don't know, it's kind of, I think you learn too much about him where he becomes not as frightening because you know exactly who he is, and they work it into the movie, you know. Edward Norton's pretty good. I like him in it. Everybody else, you know,
fine.
Yeah, pretty much fine, I think. Still, I would say overall recommend it, especially if you like Silence of the Lambs. Just like that kind of mystery and the tension between, you know, they're working together, but he knows that Hannibal Lecter's up to no good still, and kind of grappling with that. Like, he has a thing which I actually like in this film where he's really grappling with the fact that he can kind of get these people's motivations. Like he understands the minds of these serial killers, and it gets to him because he's like, wow, I must be really fucked up if I can be like, yeah, putting mirrors in people's eyes makes sense, you know? And he struggles with that for a little bit. I wish he struggled with it more because I'm always into that psychological character stuff more than plot stuff. But still, I'd have to recommend it.
Red Dragon.
And since we're moving close to October, you know, Halloween started September 1st as far as I'm concerned. So I watched a few horror movies. Red Dragon, I guess, kind of counts. It's more thriller, but, you know, it's got horror elements. I watched Sinister.
That's the one
Ethan Hawke.
where, like, the poster's, like, the girl with the teddy bear, right? She's, like, touching the wall.
I can't remember if that's Sinister or Sinister 2, but yes.
Okay.
Because the ones on Netflix are never the actual posters. You know, they always change them up. I remember hearing great things about this movie when it came out. I remember everyone being like, Sinister. Whoa, you got to go see Sinister. Do not agree with that necessarily. It is definitely a very interesting idea of this boogeyman who exists in the depictions of him, you know? So, like, there's family home footage of these people being murdered, and he's, like, sitting in the background, and he can, like, walk around the footage and, like, come out, and he uses it as a portal to come into the world and go back in, you know?
Okay.
Which is an interesting idea. And Ethan Hawke is like this writer who basically writes crime novels, and he uses these real life events as like inspiration or whatever.
Okay.
So he moves into the house of where these people were murdered, and that's not a good idea. And I will say one thing. The ending of this movie I was impressed by, because it's not really a cookie cutter ending that you would assume from a horror film, you know?
Yeah.
So I was impressed by that. I think maybe that was the reason a lot of people were impressed, because it ended and you were like, whoa, I kind of didn't expect that to happen, you know, without spoiling it.
Right.
But this movie ends with probably the dumbest jump scare I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Because it's focusing on like this film reel, right?
Okay.
And then it slowly zooms out, and there's music playing. And then the boogeyman monster literally goes, "Rah!" and ducks his head into frame and literally just goes, "Ah!" And it's so stupid because it's literally the guy just ducking over. He doesn't pop up from the bottom. It's like standing and going sideways. And it was just really, really stupid. Like, I laughed out loud when that happened.
Yeah,
I was like, he's
silly.
literally doing like peekaboo with the camera.
Peekaboo.
It was very,
That sounds very silly.
it tarnished my viewing, because the movie ended and I liked the ending, and I was like, wow. And then it went boo. I was like, this is literally like your 7-year-old cousin trying to scare you while you're watching TV, just sneaking up and going, ah, you know? But
man.
still fine.
Lion must have taken a page out of Sinister's book.
Yeah, I guess it did. Next, I watched a new film. Came out not very long ago. Might have even come out like 3 days ago. I forget. It's called Spiral.
Did you see this on Shudder?
I did see this on Shudder. It is not the Saw movie, which is also called Spiral, I think, which is new. Okay. It is a different Spiral. And this one is about a gay couple in 1995 move into a neighborhood, and there's freaky stuff going on. The one guy is freaking out. He thinks that the whole neighborhood is out to get him, you know, and out to destroy their family because they got like a 16-year-old daughter from the guy's former marriage.
Right.
And they're freaking out because it's like, they're like, oh, it's a cult. They're going to sacrifice us for whatever. And so he's freaking out, and everybody else is like, okay, dude, chill. And all of his, Malik is his name.
Malik. Nice name.
All of his reservations kind of stem from he was a victim to like a hate crime, like back in like the 80s or whatever, where like his boyfriend was like murdered in front of him, you know, so he was dealing with a lot of that trauma. And that's really what most of the movie is like about, really, is him just trying to come to terms with that trauma. And I don't know if I want to spoil it, but, you know, stuff does happen that is not good, and, you know, kind of puts him over the edge and freaks everybody out. And then the rest of the movie happens, and the ending happens, and I won't say. But I will say that this movie is fine. It definitely has, like, Get Out vibes, because it's, like, being introduced into a new community, and everything's kind of off, you know? Malik is kind of he's a little bit catty. I think they wrote him a little too mean, because he's really like, they're like, oh, I've never met, it was 95, they're like, oh, I've never met a gay couple before, or like a gay person before, and he's like, you probably have, they just aren't out yet. And he was like, and I was like, okay, listen, she's being nice, this is your first time meeting her, you can calm down. But still, the actual romance between it wasn't weird, it felt natural, you know. About 45 minutes in this movie, I was very surprised. They had a very, very frightening scene. Like probably one of the most frightening scenes I've seen in a while.
Oh, okay.
Because it kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's a horror that is not the type of horror that you're expecting from this movie. Because, you know, you figure it's like, oh, this is a movie set in reality, you know, it'll be like a slash or something, and then something really horrible kind of happens, and it gets explained. It does have a rational explanation, but it's just this horror that pops out of nowhere, and there's so many questions popping up at once that it really fills you with this anxiety where you're like, what the fuck is actually happening right now? Like, what is going, like, is there a portal in their living room? Like, what is happening?
Oh, okay.
And it was really effective having all those questions at once, eventually explained rationally.
Right.
But just popping up in front of you and putting you in the same position of question and, you know, are they in danger right now? Like, what's happening? Very, very effective to pop that in out of nowhere.
Like Parasite.
But again, it was much more threatening, like scary.
Right.
Because it is a horror movie, so you have that pretense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had one more, I would say, very effective visual that was quite horrible. By horrible, I mean horrifying.
Horrifying.
And even on those things too alone, you know, you could give it a watch if it sounds like something that would interest you. You know, a slower, more psychological kind of thing going on. It's not great overall. Like, I'll be honest, it's not great. It's not fantastic, but it's competent, I would say. It's a very competent film. Interesting indeed. And I watched one more.
Uno mas.
The final film I'm going to talk about. And I'm kind of sad about it because when I had watched this, I decided that I was going to talk about it in full and really go for it. And I've taken that back. I'm glad I have had time to sit with it because the next movie I'm talking about is Beau Travail, which is good work in French.
Good work.
Good work. From director Claire Denis. And her movie is based off of Herman Melville's Billy Budd Sailor, which is like his last novella that I don't think he even finished. And it's based off of it, so it's not direct. But it's about an army guy who is telling the story about how he left the army, you know? And there was this younger, hotter recruit who was stealing the spotlight, was stealing, you know, all the attention from his superiors, even though he was of higher rank than him. He was jealous. He was like, oh, this guy's so hot and cool, and he saved all those lives. I hate him, you know?
Right.
And that's this whole movie. This whole movie is this kind of rivalry between these two people. And it is tone the movie. This movie is 90% tone, 10% plot. Okay? Like, there was a lot of footage of just very fit, very attractive men just swimming, doing training exercises in the army, and then they go to the club, they just hang out, you know, and it's just their life, and then the friction between these two people who do not like each other very much. And yeah, not a lot happens. Like, in all honesty, it's not a lot actually happens in this film, but it's also only an hour and a half. So, you know, it works that way. I would say it's probably still a little too long, but it works. And then something happened. I didn't know this about this film, but it is very well known for this. And I can't say what it is.
Oh.
I don't want to say what it is because I didn't know about it, and I think people's experience watching this film will be better not knowing about it. But I will say that it has my favorite something from any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It has my favorite blank. And I won't say what. And if you guess it, I won't tell you you're right. But my favorite blank ever, was not expecting it to be in this movie. My favorite blank ever. But it is. And I don't want to talk about it too much because this is not very fun to listen to, I imagine. However, just in general, this film is a very
Interesting.
measured meditation on masculinity, which is alliteration, and I love that. That just
Great job.
yeah,
That's
wow.
your English professor.
But really, it's the idea of living in the army, and what it means to be a man in general, and the duty of people, in general,
Mm-hmm.
general. And
Call 1-800.
yeah, whatever.
General.
Yeah. Shaq, what are you doing? And and it's just very introspective, this film. You really, really are in the mind of Garou, who is the main character. Garou. And it was very effective in that. Even though, and again, I said this movie is really about masculinity, directed by a woman, which, might raise some eyebrows for some people. It was also the cinematographer, I believe, was Agnes Godard, who is also a woman. And I believe the editor was a woman as well. So it's actually a very woman-led film about all these men and masculinity. But I think they pulled it off. I think they've come under fire for certain aspects of the film, portraying these characters as maybe too petty or too catty, stuff like that, and not being realistic. But I think they did a splendid job. And I would heartily recommend this movie to everyone. I already picked up a copy because there was a new Criterion release of this film. And I picked it up, and it's great, and I love it. Beau travail. Yeah.
Guess that's going on my list.
That should go on your list. You can borrow it if you like.
Right, yeah. Because you have it.
I do have it.
And you can give me things.
I can give you things physically. Look. I passed him a water bottle.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anyway, that's my week. Plural.
Yeah, 2. Fortnite. That's your fortnight.
Yeah, that's my fortnight. I had fun. It was a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Geez, my turn. I watched a lot of TV.
I'm sure you did.
I always watch a lot of TV. But I also saw a few movies.
Good.
You want to hear TV or movies first? What are you feeling?
Let's finish up the movies and then go with TV.
Okay. I watched 2 movies. 2 new movies. Two new movies. One of them you talked about last week.
I did.
I'll start with that one.
Yeah.
I finally watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yes, and we will...
Charlie Kaufman.
Do you want to talk about it? Spoilers all?
Let's
get
go
into
for
it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I feel this movie made me feel like an idiot.
See, okay, you know what? That's a funny thing that you say that, because I had a criticism last week where I said, the one thing I don't like about this film is that it's too in your face about what everything is. I was like, oh, it's too easy to understand. And then I went online after the show, and the main criticism I saw was, this movie isn't easy enough to understand.
You're just too smart.
I'm just too smart for cinema.
It literally ended, and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I liked it.
But you liked it.
And then I read a bunch of things, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can never put the pieces together like that.
So the film's about just a young woman who is meeting her boyfriend's parents for the first time. Her boyfriend that she's planning to break up with.
She's thinking
about ending things. And that's the whole first half of the movie.
The movie is literally like 4 scenes.
Yeah. Driving to their parents or his parents,
right.
Being at the parents, driving home from the parents, and then the end.
Whatever it is at the end.
Whatever the end is. What do you...
I liked it.
You did like it. No, yeah, like I said, I liked it as well. Did you pick... How much do you think it helped or hindered your viewing having listened to what I said last week, if you even remembered it?
I can't say I remember too much about what you said. But no, I went in. I was expecting at least some quality because I know you said you enjoyed it, and I've seen some of the reviews. People seem to be enjoying it quite a bit. So I had not like super high expectations, but I expected at least something to be there. And I was not disappointed. Yeah. It was very interesting, original.
Yeah, certainly.
Film. I've never really seen anything like this. And it was just strange. What a strange movie.
Very strange movie. if I had to criticize anything right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
is that I felt Toni Collette was underutilized. It was her part of the film, you know, but when she was on screen, she was a very entrancing presence.
She's a great actress.
You know, you watch it and you're just like, what is going on in her head?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
So even though that, of course, is her character, I wish it could have been, I don't know, I guess, what if she was the girlfriend? He just had a really old girlfriend. You know?
Maybe it could work.
So you never... Okay, so let's go. What did you read about? What did you read? Because I didn't read anything. So you know what? My reading could have been totally wrong. I doubt it. But
Okay.
what did you read? What this movie actually is?
So the first thing I read was that the girl is not real.
Right. Nobody in this film is real.
Right.
Except for the janitor.
Jake.
Yeah.
The janitor.
But the janitor is, yeah, exactly.
And I was like, whoa.
That was like totally...
Yeah, I mean, it felt like, I mean, the movie's very like dreamlike.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that like something, but I never like really like figured it out. And
Yeah.
then once you get to like the school at the end and then like the dancing and like the singing.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, what is going on? And then the pig.
Right. The animated pig at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the maggots in his belly.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not that big brain when it comes to putting the pieces together.
Sure, yeah. I think when it really clicked for me, I had like inklings. I was like, I wonder who that character is. When she found the janitor's attire in the basement, that's when it clicked for me. I'm like, okay, Jake is the janitor.
Right.
You know?
I figured that out. I knew
Right.
that he was the janitor.
Yeah,
That's probably about as far as I got.
Yeah, and I think the part where I realized that the whole thing was fake was when they actually met in the high school. And she was like, I didn't even talk to Jake. He literally bumped into me, and I was like, oh,
Right.
thanks. And then I left, you know?
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, okay, so none of this is reliable, you know? The character of Jake is, I mean, I don't know if he's interesting, but you got to wonder how much of what is told about him is true, you know? Is he actually gifted at all, you know, mentally? Does he have smarts? Does he have talent at all? All the talent that he attributes to other people, like his girlfriend, are other artists that he's familiar with, you know? But they said that he was like a physics guy or something like that, you know?
Mm.
Like, is that all made up too? I have to lean towards yes, because he's a janitor,
Right.
you know? I also liked how they had scenes of him watching that one film and him in the next scene incorporating the details of that film into his fantasy of his girlfriend and his parents and everything. I like that detail a lot because it's enough that puts you where you're like, wait, where did I hear that before? You know, this movie, a lot of things it did to me was people would say things and I would second guess. It was like gaslighting me. I was like, did that already happen? Did they say that already? Is her name... I thought her name was Lucy, isn't it?
Dude,
Whatever.
I know. I was like, what?
Exactly. It was all stuff like that. Another criticism I have, however, is the phone calls were ultimately totally not utilized to their full extent because I read something about the book.
Right. Yes.
Did you read what the phone calls were all about? Because do you remember what the phone calls were saying? They were saying like the answer, whatever, you know? And all about just like the question and answer. What is that even entirely? Do you know what the question is? The question is, what are you waiting for? And the answer is nothing. And that's why the end of the movie happens. And again, the title is very clever because I'm thinking of anything that says breaking up. And then as it is revealed in the end, I'm thinking of ending things in the literal sense, you know?
Yeah.
His suicide at the end of the film. And another detail I liked was the foreshadowing of the hypothermia with the girlfriend, where she was all like, oh, hypothermia doesn't seem like such a bad way to go. And I know I've read that when you get hypothermia right before you die, like basically kind of you're kind of fucked, you're dead, is you'll start getting really hot and you'll want to take off all your clothes because you'll be like sweating. You'll think you're overheating even though your body's getting so cold that it's like shutting down. So you'll take all your clothes off, and they show that in the film as well, which I really liked to see. Well, I didn't like seeing him naked.
Right, yeah. He was not the most pleasant person to look
portly
at.
man. But how did you feel specifically about when the movie went off the wall bonkers at the end?
I liked it. I'm always all for, especially because I feel like the movie kind of builds up to like something really like strange happening, because it's just kind of, like you said in the past episode about like just like sometimes their clothes will change, or like just some like little things. It gradually gets more until the end. It's like giant musical number.
Yeah. I was reminded of this movie when I watched The Prestige.
Oh,
because I thought of all those milkshakes in the garbage, and then I thought
Right.
of a couple of top hats.
that's funny.
Yeah, but when you think about the character of Jake, and who he actually is, glad he's dead, I guess. He has a very sad life, but he was also like a pedophile, or maybe he was just so
weird.
sexually repressed that the high school students were his only outlet, for that. And obviously, he did have reservations about it, because I remember young Jake is upset about his peeping. He knows it's wrong, but it seems like he continues to do it anyway. Just a very sad person.
Yeah.
You feel bad.
Sucks to be him.
But not too bad.
Yeah, right. Not too bad.
You don't
but
feel
bad.
too bad. Did you see the after credit scene?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, because the movie ended and like the credits were on, I was like, okay, and I was like on my phone just like looking at things about the movie, and then I just heard something and I was like, whoa, wait, something happened.
Right.
And it kind of something happens, but not really.
Yeah, not really. It's not a scene at all. It's a sound effect.
Yeah, and I was like,
But
oh, okay,
it works. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
yeah,
I liked it quite a bit. I'm glad that you watched it in general.
yeah, it's a solid movie. I would
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
recommend to people who like weird stuff.
Did you watch any like less solid, more liquidy movies this week?
I watched a movie, brand new. This movie's brand new.
Yeah.
It came out like 2 days ago.
Okay, before you say the title of the movie, I heard that Tom Holland snorts cocaine off of Robert Pattinson's cock as he's getting fucked by Bill Skarsgård in this film.
Unfortunately,
Okay, so somebody lied to me.
that does not happen. I don't know who said that.
Somebody told me that. I guess it wasn't true.
No.
Well, I saw it post. It was a funny post. So I don't know.
The Devil All the Time. Antonio Campos' new film, brought to you by Netflix,
Thanks, Netflix.
is I didn't like it.
Why?
It's
So
I feel like this movie could be cool. It could be good.
the film is like a multi-story lines weaving together kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of. There's like 4 like main characters.
Gotcha.
Who they live in this area of like southeastern Ohio and like northwestern West Virginia. So they're like right next to each other. It's like Meade and like whatever in West Virginia. It doesn't matter. And yeah, it's basically about their own individual stories, but how they just kind of cross paths through life or whatever, which is an interesting idea. But the way it's presented is just, I feel like it would be better as like a 6-episode miniseries, because it feels like most of the characters don't get a lot of time to develop. I wasn't very invested in any of them. I mean, like 95% of them are like absolute like psychopath, terrible murderers.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. But yeah, there was really no time for them to like develop at all, especially I think Sebastian Stan's character, who's like, I mean, he's in the movie like a decent bit, but like not really. He's like in the movie, but he's not in the movie.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But the worst part about this
Okay.
is there is narration,
Yeah.
and it is
From?
it's just narrator.
Oh, ugh. I hate that.
It is, oh my, it's so bad. Like,
It's awful.
it'll be like Tom Holland is like just like sitting, just like looking out a window, and he's like, and the narrator comes in just out of nowhere, and he's like, Billy is thinking about all of the decisions he has made until this moment.
Wow.
And it happens all the time,
That's not...
and it's so annoying.
You know who did that well, but not like that? Okay, was this adapted from a book or something? Or...
Yes, it is a book.
You know who did that way better?
Who?
David Lynch in Dune. He incorporated the people's thoughts that you would read on the page into his film way better than that.
That is true. Yeah, it's it's very, the narration is like,
That
it was
sounds
really making
Who
me
signed
mad.
off on that?
I don't know.
I mean, even the thought of it, like, for me, that wouldn't even get put down on paper. I would immediately be like, that's a shitty idea.
Yeah, like if they just straight up just cut the narration from this movie, aside from all its other flaws, like it would be like 2 points better.
Good. I'm glad.
But this movie does have its merits. It has some pretty good performances. It's got a great cast. I mean, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Robert Pattinson.
I'm gonna need you to do your best Robert Pattinson in this movie impression, because I keep hearing about the accent.
It's unbelievable.
I keep hearing about it.
I don't even know how to do it.
It's a southern accent.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Can you try? Even if it's off, just tell us it's off.
I can't do it. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm trying to think of something he says.
Here we go.
I don't know.
Here we go. Come on. Anticipation.
The Lord.
Okay. The Lord knows what you're doing. Something like that.
Kind of like way worse.
Way worse. Because I heard that he refused to tell people or to show what his accent was going to be until they started filming.
Oh, I would laugh.
So nobody knew what his accent was going to be until they rolled the cameras, and then they just went with it.
He is like so over the top in this movie.
Yeah,
it is like the most over the top I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just funny. But he's all right.
But entertaining.
Oh,
if
yeah.
not good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Tom Holland specifically, because he's kind of, I mean, you would say up and coming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been very famous already, but
he's very famous.
Up and coming as he has a lot of projects in the future, you know, for him.
Yeah.
How would you say he was?
He was good, actually. It's nice to see him not as Spider-Man.
Right, not as a 15-year-old.
It's like the complete opposite to like this really nasty world. This movie is like really nasty.
Cool.
But yeah, he's pretty good. He shows he does have the kind of range for a project like this, and I definitely want to see him in more dramatic movies other than Spider-Man nonsense, because I feel like he's definitely got potential for sure. So yeah,
keep your eye on him.
Tom Holland, he's the man. But yeah,
I
don't know.
I always kind of forget that Robert Pattinson's as old as he is. In my head, Robert Pattinson's still like 20.
I know.
Like, you know,
he's like 30s,
like
right?
33, I think.
Dang.
He's still like 25 in my head or something.
He's still Twilight age.
Yeah, exactly. He's still Cedric Diggory age.
Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think about all the poor, like, Tom Holland fangirls who were like, oh, Tom Holland's in a new movie. And then they watch just like...
And he just starts snorting that coke.
And it's just like... Man, yeah. There's lots of really nasty stuff in this movie that a lot of people will not be okay with.
Okay.
But I didn't think it was too bad. There's one part that's kind of really bad, but it's fine.
But overall, you would not recommend this film?
I don't think this movie's good. I will not see it again.
Okay.
But I don't know if I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, if you're into like Southern Gothic, whatever,
like
weird,
noir almost.
Yeah. I give it a shot. Some people I know really like it. They're like, oh, it's a great movie.
But the majority of people agree, kind of a misstep.
Yeah.
Kind of
This is a miss.
Yeah. Well, can't win them all.
No. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah. Okay. Well, are you still gonna watch it?
I am still gonna watch it.
Okay. But now your expectations can be like tempered.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe
you'll be like, this movie's a fucking masterpiece.
Great.
You're an idiot.
How do you got the Blu-ray?
Onto my television, I got uno, dos more animes.
On the animes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember I told you, like I said this like 3 episodes ago, I was on a big anime trip.
Right, I remember.
Sorry, but one of them you've seen, so you can relate. First one I'll talk about is Parasite, the Maxim.
I have seen that, which is
seen
weird. But I have.
Why
seen
is that weird?
Because it just seems like a random one to watch, I think.
For me?
No, for anybody. Or for me. You know, just be like, oh, I've seen Naruto and Parasite. You know, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I really like this. Do you agree?
Yeah.
You think it was good?
I think it was very good. It was
okay. Yeah.
It was short, which was great.
I love the short form, like 20 episode
Yeah.
animes. Those are usually the best.
The little alien's voice was cute.
Migi.
Yeah, Migi.
Yeah, I like Migi a lot. It's basically just a story of parasite creature things.
Boy meets girl.
Boy meets girl.
Right? It's just that simple.
It's got really cool animation, really nasty, like body horror stuff going on with their heads like coming
Very
apart,
like Resident Evil at times.
Going, slashing people. I really enjoyed the main character. I just liked him.
Yeah,
he's very likable.
That was one thing that I was afraid of for this anime. He seemed like one of those characters that was going to be like a stand-in for the viewer, where they're kind of boilerplate. They don't have that much of a personality. They're just kind of like, hey, pretend you're him while you watch this show, you know? But he wasn't that. He did have his own kind of thing.
He's really his own person. And I like his love interest. I like her too. I think they're the two strongest characters.
Okay.
You
mean Migi?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean Migi. I'm just saying he's got a mouth on his hand.
Literally, I couldn't stop thinking about it the whole time.
I can't believe they didn't do it in the show.
Yeah,
at least once.
They turn her. She turns into a penis, which is strange.
I mean, listen, if an alien invaded your body and you had a mouth on your hand, you can't tell me you wouldn't try.
Right.
At least once.
Especially after she saves his life. You know, at that point, you know that you're bonded. She can't hurt you that way. You know, she's it'll work out. You know, like you guys are literally so entwined. Your DNA is mixed. It's basically your mouth now.
For real.
But that's your mouth. I mean, are you saying that?
All right. Well,
if you could get a rib removed,
let's pump the brakes.
Okay,
let's pump the brakes. This show also, I think it raises really interesting ideas of like environmentalism. There's like a lot of that
chain.
And just like humans' spot in the universe.
Yeah, because it puts us, any type of show or anything that takes humans from the top of the food chain and moves them anywhere else is an interesting take.
Right.
Because we've been here for so long. You know, how does the dynamic change when all of a sudden, oh wait, there's a superior force, you know?
Well, kind of.
Well,
because I thought, another thing, this is like closer to the end where it's not revealed, but they, like, Migi just like says it or something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, everyone's so terrified of these humans that have been taken over by these parasite creatures, obviously, because they're murdering people. But Migi says something like, oh, well, we're nothing. Like, we literally cannot survive without, like, without somebody else. And I just think that's because humans, you know, we can survive basically on our own. I mean, we need to, like, eat and stuff, but these little creatures literally cannot survive.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting with Migi and the main character's relationship because they start as a parasitic relationship and then they turn into a symbiotic one.
Yep.
You know? So technically everybody, you know, has the ability, if they paired up, everyone becomes a superhero. Right. And then no one is super.
When everyone's super.
But, you know, the potential is there. And then you get a mouth on your hand.
Yes, sir.
Who's going to say no?
That's what I'm saying. And I have a few criticisms.
Okay.
I think the music is good for the most part. It's got like this weird like dubstep techno soundtrack, which is cool. But I think sometimes it's like very extremely misplaced. Okay. And just like really bad parts.
I can't remember. I'll be real.
Just like if we're just talking like this, the soundtrack will just be like.
Oh, did Chris Nolan direct it?
Yeah. And then the other thing I have is it kind of feels like this show's like 24 episodes. All right. But it feels like it ends in episode 19.
True. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then like 5 more episodes just kind of happen. I like those episodes, but I feel like they're just out of place. Because like the main climax happens with the main girl parasite in the park. And then there's like the weird like terrorist attack thing.
I remember, maybe I'm crazy, but weren't there a lot of dead dogs in this show?
Dead dogs. Well, there's a dead puppy.
Or it's just the one?
And he's like, I'm going to throw it in the trash can.
Yeah, and
throws it
then
in the trash.
Wait, and then they're like, no, we have to bury it. And don't they bury it?
Yeah,
in the park.
He buries it later,
Okay.
yeah. Because the
did
girl's
he-
freaking
Yeah,
out. She's
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
can't just throw the puppy
In the
trash."
garbage, yeah. Okay.
It's
For some reason, I was thinking he buried the puppy in a sandbox. Did he say he was going to do that?
I can't remember
then
where
didn't?
he buries it. I don't know.
Because I swear it was like a children's sandbox. He was like,
It's
no one will
funny.
know.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's, like, the parasite dogs, too, that are,
Yes.
like, eating
Yeah, yeah.
other dogs.
Yeah, it was definitely a good balance of a lot of stuff. You know, action, humor, and then, you know, horror-ish elements. You know, body horror at the very least. You know, I like that. And the kind of imposter body double kind of stuff going on there, too. A lot of influences there. Yeah, I totally recommend this series.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's short
super
and
good.
sweet. It's perfect.
Cool.
It's not perfect, but, you know.
Right. Speaking of perfect, though,
Perfect, though.
there is another show I watched, also on Netflix. Netflix really doing it lately.
Anime. Was it High Score Girl?
I don't know what that is.
Was it Seven Deadly Sins?
Definitely not.
Was it Castlevania?
No.
I need to finish that still.
It is Violet Evergarden.
Oh, is that the one where she chews the gum and she's like, gravy, no mashed potatoes, and she turns into a blueberry?
I don't know what that is.
That's Willy Wonka.
Oh.
Is that her name? Violet. I'm Violet Evergarden. I get what I want. I'm a spoiled little bitch.
I mean, I think her name's Violet. I don't think it's Evergarden, though.
Okay, well, if it was, it'd be cool.
It would be.
Anyway, anime.
Anime. This
That's
is
my favorite character from Spider-Man. Anime. Violet Evergarden.
This show is probably a masterpiece of animation and storytelling.
Okay.
I'm
I'm not taking you seriously, but continue.
not sure yet. Why?
Just because
You don't trust me?
I've never heard of this, so for you to say that is very strange.
Violet
to me.
Evergarden.
Yeah.
Violet Evergarden.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Hatimashite.
Yeah. Now I got it.
The animation. I'll start with the animation. It is like the most beautiful, colorful, expressive animation that I've like ever seen. Like it probably took them like 20 years to make it.
Okay. Last time I remember you saying that you said it about, other than Ghibli films, I remember you saying it about like Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer has great animation,
Yeah.
but this is like different. I don't know. You have to see. It's like
Demon Slayer, what I liked was the movement. Like the literal movement was good, but like everything else, it wasn't like crazy to me, but just seeing things move was really nice.
right.
What do you think specifically is fantastic?
The faces.
The faces.
The faces are unbelievable, especially the eyes. You like every time any character's on the screen, you literally cannot look anywhere else but their eyes. I don't know what it is, but just the detail, like it's insane.
Now, is it a traditional anime aesthetic still? Like they look like a traditional anime character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big boobies, big eyes.
Yeah, okay. Tiny mouth when they're not talking, huge mouth when they are talking.
Yeah. But this show is this is like as Sam Esmail loves to say, this is a very #fuck plot
Yeah,
show.
which I agree with usually.
It's literally Violet Evergarden was before the show.
Hold on.
There's-
Did you finish it?
Yeah, it's like 10 episodes.
Okay. That bumps up my interest greatly.
Okay. Before the show happens, there's a war, and she is known as like the weapon in the war or whatever. She was like raised just to be like a straight murder beast.
Cool.
Yeah, right? And then she meets this guy there who's like a general who like oversees her, and they form a connection.
Okay.
But then the war's over. She loses both of her arms in the war. So she has robot arms now.
Sweet. Like the girl from Ruby.
Right. I don't know. I haven't seen Ruby.
Yang.
Yang.
Okay. Guys, I've seen Ruby. Don't ask.
Yeah, tough look for that guy over there.
I had to. Okay. Can we sidetrack? Can we have a sidebar really quick?
Go off.
I watched Ruby because I would say, wow, Ruby isn't very good. And then everyone would be like, you haven't even seen it. How can you say that? So I watched it all. So now when people say that, I can be like, actually, I have watched it all. And this is exactly why it's bad. And then people are like, but you still watch it all. So I kind of did it to myself.
I'm sorry for you.
I'm done. Continue.
I told you not to.
I know. I should have listened.
Okay.
I have to finish it now, too. I can't just not.
And he, the guy,
Yeah.
he dies in the war. But she doesn't really know that. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But she becomes what is called I'm trying to remember. Like, it's like a male doll. They call them like dolls, but they write letters.
Male doll.
Yeah.
Okay. Male. Like
MAIL.
Yeah, okay.
Male doll. Something like that. And they write letters for people to other people to help people like connect.
like her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, exactly like that.
Exactly.
But she has like no emotion
Sweet.
because she's like a stone cold like murder weapon beast.
Because she went under the mutations to become a Witcher.
Right.
I'm just gonna make as many references as I can. Ruby, Witcher, her. Let's keep it going.
And that's just like the setup, and the show is just about her kind of like learning. Well, okay, the main thing that her mission is the last words that the guy she became attached to said to her was that he loves her, and she has no idea what that means.
Oh.
So her mission by like doing this job or whatever, just going through life, is to figure out what I love you means.
Okay, cool.
So she goes each episode, like they'll go places and she'll like help people write letters or whatever. And at first she's like, you know, really like sometimes like someone will be like, I want you to write a letter this way, but she's like super literal, and they're like, why are you writing it like that? It needs to be like emotional or whatever.
Now, when you say she needs to find out what I love you means, is it I love you, or does she need to find out what the moon is shining beautifully tonight means?
What?
Isn't that like a thing in Japanese where it's like how they say I love you is the moon looks beautiful tonight?
Oh no,
I read
I love
something
you.
about that.
I don't know about that.
Okay, but so she's a sucky writer.
Right, but then as the show progresses, she meets people that have an impact on her and affect her emotionally, and she starts to gain like knowledge and emotions and starts to understand. And then by the end of the show, obviously, you know, she goes through the full arc and she understands what I love you means. It's very, very lovely show. Just lots of just talking, very talky show. There's one episode where it's like a flashback to the war, and it's like really nasty explosions, blood, whatever. Yeah. But the kicker is there's one episode that literally turned me into a little baby boy that was just born.
Okay.
If you like, I've cried in movies before, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. But I have never ever cried like this watching anything.
Wow.
I was like tears like running down my face.
Yeah.
I was like so affected by this. And if you don't cry during this specific episode, like you are literally a psychotic person. Like you have to feel nothing.
Yeah.
For this to not at least tear you up at the very least.
Okay.
And that is probably like one of the greatest episodes of like television that I've ever seen. This show is freaking awesome. Highly recommend.
On Netflix.
On Netflix, it's like 10, 12 episodes,
Cool.
and that's it.
Cool. Very interesting. I might check it out. Who knows?
Do it. Hopefully I didn't overhype it for you.
Well, you know, it happens. It happens.
You know what else happens?
What's that?
Raised by Wolves. I couldn't think of a good segue. Sorry. Raised by Wolves show. Talked about it last time. It has some new episodes. Interesting thing with this show is they're releasing 2 episodes every week instead of 1. So there's been 4 episodes since I last.
I don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine with me. Whatever.
Right, yeah.
I'll watch it. This show is proving that it is one of the best shows right now on television. It is so original. It's like like usually sci-fi. This is like essential viewing for sci-fi fans, me. But usually sci-fi takes from a lot of things But this, I mean, I've never seen anything like the show. It's like so original. The world is so alien and just strange. And I mean, you've never seen anything like this before, but the performances by, I have their names, Amanda Collin and Abubakar Salim. I hope I'm saying that right.
Sounds right.
As mother and father, they're the two android characters, are like really good, like Hall of Fame android performances. I know there's not that many, but
yeah,
I'd put him there. And then Travis Fimmel is also in the show, who is from Vikings.
Cool.
He's like the main character in Vikings or whatever. I don't know. I don't see Vikings, but he's also really good. But it's just this really interesting show about, there's like the Mithraics, which is like the religious people that I talked about, and then there's the atheists, which is the colony with the androids and stuff, and it's just kind of them like clashing, and it's just really interesting. Excuse me. It's going in a really strange way where like the Travis Fimmel's character is like hearing voices, like, because I told you they put their faces on, they put like the other people's faces on, and they're like the dude's dad, but like not really, because they killed them,
right?
But they were atheists before, like the war was between the Mithraics and the atheists.
Okay.
And they were atheists before, so they're just kind of like pretending to be Mithraics until they can grab their son and get to the tropical zone of this planet so they can live or whatever.
Sure.
But he's starting to like hear this voice, which for now we know as like the voice of Sol, which is the god that they worship. But some really other strange things have been happening, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but the show's going in a really cool direction that I'm very much enjoying.
Do you think that if you got the answers to all these questions and they were all bad, how catastrophic would it be? Completely? Or be like, oh, it was worth the ride?
It might be really bad, but oh man, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a thinker.
It might be really bad because there's like a lot of questions.
But it'll definitely keep you hooked to find out.
Right, because there is a season 2, I know.
There is. Okay, I guess I'll just delete that off the docket for news.
Oh, my bad. I just like saw it was because
No,
I'm on like the subreddit and everything. They're like, Raised by Wolves season 2, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how everything wraps up because there's a lot of loose ends. But also, there's another show. This show's far more popular than Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
The Boys.
The reviews wouldn't tell you that, though. You'd think people hate this show based off the reviews.
They hate it. They said, I want all of the episodes right now. Why are you releasing them one at a time? Give it to me now. I'm going to be a little crybaby about it. Now, who cares? Who cares?
So, yeah, they're releasing them one episode a week, right?
Well, the first time they did 3 episodes, and now it's just weekly.
And people are really mad about it.
Whatever. They're stupid.
That is one of the most stupid things I've heard in a while.
It's very dumb.
Especially if you like the show. It's like, oh, I want to get none of this ever again. 1 out of 5.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to watch it all in one day so then I can complain that there's not a season 3 yet.
Right. Or get it canceled because the reviews are bad.
Right. But yeah, so episode 4, I actually really did not like very much at all. It kind of, I don't want to say like betrays like what The Boys is supposed to be.
You don't want to say that, so.
But it's kind of just like a really boring episode of The Boys with like nothing crazy happen. Because the whole point of like The Boys is like it's this like crazy like satire of like the superheroes and just like a social satire and like, you know, corporate. And this episode is just like very character driven, but like it's just like fluff. It's like a filler episode in an anime. Gotcha. That is what this episode is.
Well, what if that's the satire? And they made it bad on purpose.
Then they're geniuses. But I mean, it had a few funny parts, like Homelander is like looking through the internet, and there's a bunch of memes.
Oh, cool.
Of him.
I love memes.
And it's just funny because the memes are like exactly like the kinds of memes. Like the show's very current, so it has like exactly the kind of memes that you'd be seeing right now. And I'm just like, this is funny.
Okay, yeah.
But whatever. Episode 4 was stupid in my opinion. But episode 5 was much better.
Much better.
Back to classic boys fashion. But the show is beginning to have a problem, I fear. The show is called The Boys.
Too many women?
Right? No. No.
Okay.
The show is called The Boys, but the villains
Mm-hmm.
and like of the 7, the superheroes and stuff, they are like far more interesting and developed and have like way more to do and are way more charismatic than the boys.
Okay, yeah.
The boys almost feel like they're just kind of pushed to the side, especially Frenchie and Kimiko.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like non-existent
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
in the show. And then the other 3, Billy, and can't even remember this Scrawny kid's name.
Fufu.
Fufu.
Right?
Sure. They're just kind of like, they're not like nothing's happening for them.
Yeah.
Like as characters, it's just really weird. But I mean, I'm loving all like the, superhero Homelander and Stormfront, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But the show is called The Boys,
Yeah.
and the boys are like not the best part of it
Yeah, I wonder
or in the forefront.
since it is the comic or the graphic novel or whatever,
Right.
if how faithful it's being right now,
I
or
don't know.
if they are like padding it out a little bit, trying to see how much ground they can make, see if they can get a few more seasons or something, which is a dangerous path. But who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's gonna have to get figured out soon.
Yeah.
I think because
How many episodes a season?
8.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
gonna
like
have to get figured
3
out.
more, and I mean they got to do something for them this season because the Homelander and Stormfront and everybody is like just taking the show away right now. And I mean I love Homelander. I talked about it.
Yeah.
This actor's great performer. But yeah, they're gonna have to figure something out.
I hope they do. If not, I'll blow up a plane
Blow
with
up a
my
plane.
laser vision.
Oh, that's funny. That reminds me. There's a part where so basically the main like plot of this episode is a video leaks of Homelander. He's like killing a super terrorist,
Okay.
but he accidentally lasers like a random civilian, and people are like protesting him, and they're like, he's a murderer, or whatever. And he's like, they're protesting me. What? And then like the corporate lady's like, don't say anything. Like we gotta let this figure out. And Homelander's like, I get to fucking do what I want to fucking do.
Okay.
And so he like goes to one of the he just like shows up at one of the protests.
Yeah.
And he like tries to like tone everything. And he's like, guys, sometimes these things just happen. And everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And he just starts getting like really, really upset. And then this could have been really cool, but it kind of gets dialed down a little bit.
Okay.
He gets really angry and he just lasers everybody
Wow.
in the crowd. And I was like, oh my, what the hell is he doing? Just like murdering all of these people. But then it turns out he was just thinking about it. And I was like, dang, that could have been
would have
like
been wild.
crazy.
Yeah.
But then he leaves and he has like a freak out. So he's going in a really interesting way.
I mean, his death toll's already pretty high. So
Right? Yeah, he's killed a lot of people. But then him and Stormfront, who's like this like racist chick.
nice.
Yeah. There's a lot with her, but I won't get into.
Okay.
But they have like a like fight/fuck session. And there's a funny part where they're both basically like invincible, and she's like, I want you to laser my tits. And he's like, what? And she's like, it won't hurt, I promise. And he's like just like lasering her tits. It's really weird. And then they're just like punching each other in the face. It's really weird. But it's funny.
Okay.
That just reminded me when you said laser.
Yeah, sure. No, I liked hearing about that. I still don't know if I'm ever going to pick it up.
I think the show is fine.
That's kind of one of the reasons why I don't know if I will, because
It has its moments.
yeah, it seems like a lot of stuff that I wouldn't be a fan of comedy wise, but who knows? Maybe if I get bored enough, I could.
Maybe. It has its moments, but it's definitely
Yeah. Oh, is that the end of your?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm
Okay.
done, Zo. That's a lot.
Just for anybody who's not watching the show, or is only listening, or really anybody, because it's kind of off camera a little bit. What are you wearing?
Oh. I am wearing my. You can see it right there, pretty good, I think. Here, we'll move this.
Okay, what is that?
My Karuto Kuruzumaki shirt.
Yeah, who is Karuto Kuruzumaki?
Well, Karuto is.
What clan is he? It looks like he's from the Hidden Leaf.
Well, yeah, he's from the Leaf, obviously.
The Hidden Leaf Springs. Radiator Leaf. That's better.
Radiator Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, if you know, you know. It's a meme. If Naruto was in Cars, this is what he would look like.
He would be Karuto Kuruzumaki.
And he'd be Karuto Kuruzumaki.
We just couldn't go the whole episode without addressing that.
Yeah, you're right.
So I thought we should get it out of the way.
That's true.
Before we head into news.
Time for the news. Well, do you want to do box office first?
Oh, yeah. I forgot that the box office was a thing.
Doo-doo. Box office time, everybody. Listen, the box office, not very active because,
tap.
believe it or not, there's really not that many movies out right now.
Man, there's not many people actually brave enough to go see a movie.
But
even though
listen
it's
to
not
this.
bravery, it's more intelligence.
Right. Exactly. So this is kind of crazy, but not really. Tenet has, in the U.S., only grossed about $30 million, which is horrendous.
That's really bad.
Which is not very good at all.
What was the budget?
It's like 250 at least, probably.
Oh, okay.
I would think. I don't know for sure, but it's very not good, especially because the New Mutants is at like 15, almost 16, which, I mean, it's only half of what Tenet has, but I feel like it should be like 15% of what Tenet has.
Hey, the New Mutants, maybe it's good. We haven't seen it.
So, yeah, you're right, but it feel like
I understand.
don't know.
I understand your
and other movies that were supposed to come out, like I know, like Wonder Woman and
Got
a
moved
few
back,
others,
yeah.
they moved them back even farther because Tenet is like a flop.
Yeah, as of right now.
So that's really interesting.
Domestically, at least.
Right.
Internationally,
International, I don't know. Let's see.
it's probably doing much better, especially in
Mulan is killing it right now in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing all right, I guess, Tenet, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It could spawn some trouble for, what's it called?
Theaters
Theaters in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made like 200 million worldwide, which is, they've like almost made their money back. They haven't even made their money back yet.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how
Really?
Chris is feeling.
Probably.
I mean,
I
it's
kind
not
of feel bad for him.
Well, it's not the movie's fault, even if the movie
It's not,
isn't great. It's, the world and how now is just not a good time to release a movie. Or, release it digitally and do it that way. I'm sure they would make plenty of money.
Right. Like Doolittle.
The De Niro, Downey Jr.
Yes, is grossed more than Tenet.
Good job, Robert Downey Jr. and Rami Malek.
That's bad.
It's
So
not
I don't know.
good.
Very interesting things going on in the money side of things. So I don't know. Sucks for Tenet.
We'll see what happens in the future. Who knows? We're at a really weird spot with, not to get into it because I just don't want to, but we're at a really weird time with the whole idea of the quarantine and pandemic and everything like that. Because some places are really opening up, and by some places I mean other parts of the world, because the U.S. kind of needs to get its stuff together. So it's just a weird headspace that everyone's in all around the world, I think. Interested. I'll be real. I'm kind of a sick person. Not like corona sick, but in the head.
Yeah, well, I know.
I know. But sometimes I see all these commercials.
Okay.
They're like, we're here for you. We know about safety. We respect you and love you, our valued customers, and we will work together to make sure we're all back together again and happy and just as the way things were. Come to Chuck E. Cheese this Sunday. And, it's like you have these things where the Chuck E. Cheese commercial is so weird because you just see all the kids playing with masks and everything. Very odd, very peculiar kind of thing to view. But you think about it, like this is like in 100 years, people are going to be like, guys, look what I found. These commercials from 2020, like some kind of weird death world. Like, you know, it's going to become an oddity to be like, wow, they actually made commercials and this was like a whole thing. You know, it's just interesting to take a step back and be like, yeah, this is a huge part of history right now that people are going to be talking about. Like, remember when the plague almost happened again?
Nice.
And people will be like, no, I don't. And then they'll be like, now you'll never guess what the Washington football team used to be called. You know?
Bro, oh, yeah. Jeez.
I don't know. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and be like, wow, life, man.
Life, bro.
And I found this really cool podcast called The Stagler.
Yeah, they'll be talking about that one in the history books.
When we're discovered, we're going to be one of those artists that, you know, only gets discovered after they die. So once we die, we'll start raking in the
fame
views.
is coming.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get into the real news.
The real news.
The Netflix co-founder explains why the streamer will never include advertising.
Good.
Because subscriptions play a very important role. They would rather not struggle to claw advertising dollars from competitors. Here's the thing about this. When he's out of the picture, this statement doesn't mean anything. You know, Netflix is going to continue. I doubt he's going to be around forever. I get it's a nice little statement. It's probably good PR for Netflix, probably. You know, to be like, oh, we'll never have commercials like that creepy Hulu if you don't pay enough money. You know, but it doesn't really mean much to me. It seems like kind of a platitude.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But I thought worth noting because I saw people talking about it. So, you know, Netflix is doing a lot of stuff working on their own. You know, I mean, double all time, stuff like that.
Netflix is killing it this
year. They gotta.
They are like owning movies.
They have to because they got a lot going on. Moving on. Have you watched The Walking Dead?
No. Quit after season 6 or 7.
I think I also quit after season 7, and then I watched a little bit more. I literally couldn't do it. I actually couldn't watch. I would put it on when I was doing like chores and stuff as background noise. I preferred sitting in silence and doing them in silence than putting this on in the background. Wow, that's where I was at with this series.
Poor show.
The show did a lot good, but then it just would mess it up. You know, like Carol. Melissa McBride's character, Carol, was one of my favorite characters of the show. Probably my favorite character in general, after like Glenn, maybe. And I loved her. And they gave her like an ending in one of the seasons where she just left and she just started kind of doing her own thing alone, you know, get away from the violence and everything.
Yeah.
And then literally like the next episode or 2 episodes later, they bring her back in and she's like, I'm ready to kill again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so they just do weird things with characters. Who knows where they're all at now? We're so detached from this, but The Walking Dead is going to end after a supersized 11th season.
Their seasons are already like super long.
Well, it's going to be a 2-year season as one. It's really going to be 2 seasons, but it's going to be 1 season, I guess.
Okay.
And Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride are going to get a spinoff set for 2023.
Okay. Whatever.
I assume we really know nothing about it, but I assume it's got to take place after the story because they're always...
There can't be a before because they meet during the show.
Exactly. And Carol leaves for like a season, I think, or maybe half a season. And Daryl, I think, is always there, right?
Yeah.
Once he shows up, he's always there.
Well, we know who makes it to the end of the show.
Well, right, exactly. It's like, okay, well, they're safe, but who didn't know that? So what's going on with Walking Dead right now?
I have no
They've got that spinoff they're doing. They've still got the Rick Grimes movie. As far as I know, Michonne's character has exited the show.
Oh, really?
To search for Rick.
Oh.
As far as I know.
Cool.
And then they also have Fear the Walking Dead, which has been going for a while. And then they have The Walking Dead: The World Beyond, which is
new?
No, it's not that new. It was a while ago, but it's going to be like kids who were born into the Walking Dead, like they were born after the apocalypse started.
Like Ellie.
Yeah, exactly. And them doing their own thing. I think they're trying to go from one city to the next, even though they're not supposed to, you know. I think that's what that story is about. So there's still so much The Walking Dead just happening. People are
Wow.
watching. They must be, or they wouldn't keep making
They have
it.
to be.
Not to like insult anybody watching it all, but it does seem like a lot. I love zombies, and I still got burnt out on The Walking Dead.
It's just not good.
I heard it got better.
I mean, maybe it did.
You know, I heard the latest season was actually pretty good.
Don't matter. I ain't watching it.
I want to watch it so bad, and I mean that. I really do. I just sometimes can't make myself do it. I just can't. It's impossible. You know?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Please.
The Eric Andre Show, Season 5, gets a premiere date. And that premiere date is October 25th, Sunday night at the stroke of midnight. Now, did you ever watch the Eric Andre Show?
I've seen many clips. He's very funny.
A lot of clips. Again, I have seen so many clips from the show. Very funny show. Very bizarre, surreal kind of comedy going on. It's coming back again. Ellen DeGeneres is in this article for some reason. I don't know if he's taking over if he's going to call it the Ellen Show and just not change anything, perhaps.
Okay.
But he said it's going to be the season of decadence, whatever that means. He's got a big new set. Looks very nice.
Nice.
Shaved head, total body transformation, of course. And I am excited. I might actually watch this, like, you know, as it comes out, because I've never gotten the opportunity to.
Yeah, me too.
You know? So, exciting news. Obi-Wan Kenobi series could be a standalone season, says Ewan McGregor.
What does that mean, like a miniseries?
Yeah, apparently. Standalone season was a weird way to word that, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we already knew it was going to be separate.
Right, exactly. So it could be just the one limited series and done. He's really excited about it. There aren't any plans for a second season, but it's not definite.
Cool.
It's not, yes, it's only going to be one season no matter what. They're booked for one season, and it probably has a conclusion, but it could go on. It could go on. And I don't know. I like Ewan McGregor. I like Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Yeah, he's up there.
If not, you know, my favorite. He's great.
Right behind Baby Yoda.
Really?
No, Baby Yoda's not a character. He's just cute.
Do you see the thing with Baby Yoda is not to just totally ignore Obi-Wan Kenobi's series, but the thing with Baby Yoda is what are they going to do with Baby Yoda just in general? Are they going to make him grow up?
He's going to grow up and then he's going to be teen Yoda.
I know, but are they going to get like his own series and they're just going to, because the thing is when you have a creature like Yoda,
he's cute. Cutie.
That lives for a very, very, very long time.
He's a little baby.
They could have that character be in every movie for the rest of Star Wars.
They should do that. Wow. What a thing.
And he'd be like a kid, and then, you know, in 200 years, he'd be like a young adult, you know? Like, they could milk the character forever and be like, Baby Yoda's in every Marvel thing, you know?
That'd be sick.
I would not put it past them to have that idea. Maybe they're listening right now, and they're like, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Great idea.
We could have him in every single Star Wars piece of media. But will people like him when he grows up?
It depends how he acts.
And he becomes adult Yoda? And
Adult
everyone's like,
Yoda.
look, it's adult Yoda.
That would be great.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be a time thing, and he actually is Yoda, and the Mandalorian throws him to a time portal.
Stupid.
It's like, wow, that is Yoda. You would hate that, wouldn't you?
That would be stupid.
That'd be so stupid that I would love it. I'd be like, yes. It actually is Baby Yoda. That'd be so gratifying. Because obviously that wouldn't be their real plan, right? Unless it would be.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope that doesn't happen. Because I enjoy The Mandalorian.
October 30th.
Yes,
Season
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about Pink Floyd. How do you feel about Pink Floyd?
Great band.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I like Pink Floyd. Hans Zimmer supervised a 32-person choir over FaceTime for Pink Floyd Eclipse cover.
Yes, he did.
For the Dune trailer, which we didn't talk about. We talked about the teaser for the trailer, but not the trailer. Why don't you just do whatever you need to do to get this out of your system?
This is... listen. I know I get excited about a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I've ever been more excited for a movie in my entire life. I was very excited before this trailer came out.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is already like a huge event for many, many people, including myself.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever felt so much emotion watching a trailer. Like, I almost started crying watching this trailer because I was like, my favorite director is finally making one of the greatest sci-fi stories ever.
Yeah.
The way it's supposed to be made, hopefully.
Right, right, right.
But just like seeing all the images, especially after having, knowing everything, reading the book, which I forgot to bring for you.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. You should have reminded me.
I should have.
I mean, it's just amazing. The trailer is amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
Do you lie? You think I'm lying?
I don't think you're lying. I think you believe that.
This trailer is amazing.
I think you believe that this trailer is amazing. I wasn't as impressed by the trailer. And honestly, this cover was I didn't really like this choice of song for this trailer. That's me. That's totally me.
Well, okay. Fine. Well, it's kind of a funny thing because of, I forget the name, but there's a guy who famously was going to make Dune but then didn't, and there was a thing with him and Pink Floyd.
Oh.
There's a lot. So it's funny that Pink Floyd is in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. I don't know. I didn't care for the song.
I like it.
It's a good rendition of the song, but I don't know. Just for the trailer itself, who knows? I mean, Hans Zimmer himself, didn't he not work on Tenet just to work on Dune?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan was like so mad. He's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, Hans Zimmer.
Never
Work with you
again."
ever again. I can't believe you'd work with Denis over me." Why are we painting Chris Nolan like such a villain?
I don't know. We'll see how that turns out.
We love you, Chris Nolan.
But yeah, 32-person choir over FaceTime. Apparently 4 at a time.
That's cool.
With like huge glass boxes around them. Total wipe downs before each set. He would sit at home and they would come in 4 at a time and like do the choir like that way.
Interesting.
And
play it. Just play the trailer.
No, I'm not going to do that. But he did a good job. Hans Zimmer did a good job of the song. I just don't know if in the trailer itself I liked it. How do you feel about the sandworms?
The worm is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome looking.
If you need like if you haven't seen the trailer and you need like a image in your mind, take like a penis and on the head put a butthole. And that's what the sandworms look like. They look like a butthole on the end of a penis.
Stop.
That's what they look like. How do you look at a butthole and then look at that thing's mouth and you'll be like, "That a booty hole."
It looks,
in a good way. I mean that with all the love and respect in the world. It looks great. The sheer size of this worm is really what kind of blew me away. It's very effective how they were able to accomplish just the magnitude of this thing. I will be honest. I have reservations. I'm afraid. I can't tell from the trailer. But I really hope that the actors were able to properly imagine the scale of these things because they are so huge on the screen.
Real. Denis went to another planet. He went to Arrakis and captured them.
He brought them back to film.
He brought them
didn't
back
just
for filming.
film on Arrakis.
Well, it was too much of a problem to get everybody to go to Arrakis.
And having a sandworm loose on the planet Earth is less of a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Still though, if they had made it CG instead of real, I would have hoped that the actors would be able to really understand the scale of these things. Because the thing you hate the most is like when they do that and like let's say Sonic or something, somebody's just like looking over Sonic's head, like when they're talking to him. That stuff bugs me. So I hope they just went to New York and was like, "See the Empire State Building? That times like 4." They were like, "Oh, okay, so it's pretty big."
It's kind of big. Okay.
I just hope it's believable because those things are massive.
I'm sure it will be.
I'm sure it will be too.
I trust my man's Denis.
Yeah. Very exciting. Are you ready to move on?
No, I never want to move on.
Okay, continue.
I love Dune.
Moving on. Speaking of Denis, Jake Gyllenhaal teases Villeneuve reunion.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are working on something now. They worked together previously on Enemy and Prisoners.
Oh, Prisoners, great movie.
And they're a good team. I love them together.
But here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
He says they're working on something now.
Prisoners 2.
If it's not Dune
Part
2,
2?
I will be extremely upset.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't read that they were doing Dune 1 and 2 like back to back or anything.
Well, it's not even
right.
It ain't even like a thing yet.
Exactly.
I think Dune has to like succeed for them to be like, okay, let's go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's unclear if he literally means right now, or in talks right now of working together. It is unclear. But yeah, him in part 2 of Dune, perfect, great. I would love to see it. But anything else, also love to see that.
Right, yes. Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I do, yes. But I want Dune part 2.
I understand. But maybe you'll have to wait 70 years.
I haven't even seen part 1 yet.
And you already want to see the
part
sequel.
2.
Here's the thing, and I don't want to say this, but I will for the point of entertainment. Imagine, if you will, the movie sucks. Imagine it's so bad. Actually, you know what? I will say there's one thing I prefer in the David Lynch, even from the trailers. There's something I prefer in the David Lynch movie than I like in this one. Do you want to guess what it is?
Everybody's white.
No. The shields. I prefer the shields, or whatever they're called.
You don't. They look the same.
No, they don't. No, they do not. They look good. They do. Like, they look way better than I thought they would. I was afraid they'd be a lot less, like they'd be like nothing or
They're
something
exactly
stupid
what
like
I
that.
predicted. I'm
But,
just saying.
Yeah, but I prefer the old ones to that. I wish they were exact.
You
carbon
prefer
copy.
the Minecraft characters.
Yes.
I mean, it's funny.
It's so much better than like realistic looking, in quotes. I really like the old blocky look.
You're joking, right?
No, I really like the old blocky look because it looks like a device that makes sense. I can comprehend this kind of cage around a person. You know what I mean? The actual like physical, it blends to every bump in your body, makes less sense to me than like a cage that just envelops you totally. You know what I mean? It makes sense technologically to me, just from a technology standpoint, and it looks funnier.
It does look very funny. Yes,
I like it.
I agree.
I don't know, but that's the one thing. Everything else,
Oh, man. Shields look really cool. I like them. They're blue, and then when they get like hit and stuff, they go like red where they get hit. It's like really cool looking.
It's very cool.
Don't be hating on Dune. This is a pro Dune podcast, and I will not take Dune slander.
Read this one while I cough.
The Batman resumes production after shutdown over Robert Pattinson's positive COVID-19 test. Funny meme I sent you. There's a TikTok where it's this article, and there's the guy was duetting it, and he was like just like sitting there looking, and he was like, oh man, but there's music in the background, and if you're cultured, you would know that the music is the music from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where Robert Pattinson's character Cedric Diggory tragically is murdered and dies at the end, and that's the song that plays when they come back from the maze.
Yeah,
it's a very funny joke.
Very, very funny. But I think literally last episode we talked about production stopping, and now this episode they're back. So, it's like it never even happened.
Oh.
Right? Didn't we? Was that last episode or was that the one before that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But they're back. They're working on it. When we saw the trailer, they said like not even half had been shot yet or something like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're making good progress. Hopefully everyone will stay
healthy. Especially Patty.
Everyone, keep it going. Here's our Raised by Wolves renewed at HBO Max for season 2.
Yay.
We spoke enough, but just so you know, Mulan's come under a bit of controversy. And even though this isn't loading, don't worry about it. It's there it goes.
There it goes.
Disney has a lot of problems because where they filmed this movie is also where the Chinese are keeping Muslims in internment camps.
Yes, very not good.
Which is, very China of them. And people Also, people apparently just don't like the movie very much. Say it's not that great.
I listened to a podcast where they like destroyed this movie.
Give us some deets.
It's just like
I heard it was like Western almost.
just watch the original.
Right, but I heard that it had almost Western, like Mulan doesn't get what she gets in this movie because of hard work. She gets it because she was born special. Because
Yes, it's a big thing that she's
Yeah.
like magical or something, which
Right.
is like totally
ruins
not,
the point
It's not.
of the entire film.
Yes.
You know, it's like turning that. It sounds awful when you put it that way.
Yes, very bad.
But yeah, they got the whole everything around the movie is like the pro Hong Kong kind of idea, you know, pro CCP, which everyone is not very happy with, and it's causing problems for Disney. They're actually facing backlash that is hurting their, you know, like box office or
Good.
what you would call they. Good, right? Exactly. Really, the
Good,
whole point
this
is
is good news.
This is good news that Disney is kind of being put on blast for these decisions that they made and for making a shitty film. Right. Have any of them been good? The live action Beauty and the Beast was like fine.
No, Beauty and the Beast was not fine. Do you remember when she says
People.
people?
Yeah, come on. Don't go at Emma Watson like that. You filled that up really high. Yeah, I still think it was fine.
No, all of the live actions suck and they should not be created.
Did you ever see Lion King?
No.
I didn't.
Why?
I don't know, but I think that one was also supposed to be better than the others.
Beauty and the Beast is the only one that I've seen, and you actually just reminded me that I have seen it.
Right, we saw it together.
Why did we do that?
I think a girl.
Girls, man.
Girls, man. Anyway, good thing Mulan. I'm so sorry.
Never do that again.
I'm so sorry. Don Bluth launches new studio to usher in renaissance of hand-drawn animation.
I like it.
Deserves a standing ovation, if you ask me. Okay. Standing, clapping, peaking, probably. Anyway, very exciting. I feel like we were talking about not too long ago about the Disney Call Me by Your Name. Remember? That I forget the title of?
Luca.
Luca. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I think it might be.
Okay.
Is it? Wait, it might not be that.
I don't know.
Who knows? But we were talking about that, how we wish that we could see Pixar return, or Disney, anybody, return to traditional 2D animation.
Yeah.
And here we go. Maybe he listens to the show, and he's like, you know what? It's
probably
about
did.
damn time. And Don Bluth was like, you know what? I have some money stored away in the banana stand, and I'm going to go pick it up, and I'm going to launch a new studio.
Damn right.
And so very exciting.
Yeah, that's
to
awesome.
see these. Yeah, because 3D animation just kind of taking over the whole market. What was last 2D animation I saw in a film was in Enchanted, and it was the first 10 minutes. And it wasn't even done by Disney. It was done by like a third party.
Yeah. I can't think of anything.
Right.
Oh, I'm thinking of ending things. Boom.
You're right.
Bang.
Perfect.
Okay, good. We don't need this anymore. We got our fit of 2D
Okay.
animation.
Charlie Kaufman beat you to it. All right. Here's some sad news. Next.
No.
I'm going to take a somber turn for a second. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is ending. I know. I just want to ask you, because this blew me away. What year do you think Keeping Up with the Kardashians started?
1994.
No.
Damn it.
No. Was that an honest guess?
Yeah, I figured it was like really long, way longer than I thought.
Well, it's still longer than I thought.
Okay, I have one more guess.
Okay.
2005.
2007.
Oh,
So you're not far off.
I was close.
But I heard that, or I read that, and I was like, really? 2007 is... I was 8 years old, and I learned about Kim Kardashian. Wow. Why has so much of my life been this way? Kim Kardashian, I still don't know what she does. I don't know what any of them do, which is funny, because in this article, they're like, we're famous enough to not have a TV show anymore. I still don't know what they do.
I mean,
I don't know what any of them do. I think one sells dog food.
good for them.
It's like pink dog food for
Keep
girl
it up.
dogs.
Keep it up.
But they're still super rich and famous and really pretty. I know someone who met Kim Kardashian in real life.
Who?
My Jeremy, but you don't know Jeremy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know Jeremy. Good
Jeremy.
for him, I guess.
Yeah. Well, not like meet like they spoke, but they were in the same room. You know?
Oh, so he didn't meet her. He saw her.
Yes, but saw her in real life.
Yeah.
But anyway, he said that the camera actually makes her look uglier. And she's still really pretty.
Interesting.
But he said in real life she is like very, very stunning. I forget why I brought this up in the first place.
Because it's ending.
It is ending, right?
Season 19.
Very sad. Season 19. I do know that Kim Kardashian was in a film, I believe, that I saw. And that movie was, I think it was called Disaster Movie.
Yeah.
And it was, what's his name? Oh, what is his name? It's the two guys who direct all these awful movies together, like Epic Movie, Disaster Movie, Superhero Movie, Meet the Spartans, Vampires Suck, Starving Games.
Robert Zemeckis and...
No. Robert Zemeckis does like the scary movies. This is the people who write for Robert Zemeckis in his movies, and then they did their own thing, and they did not do as well. I forget their name. Aaron Seltzer and somebody else. There we go. Got one of them. Aaron Seltzer and somebody else made a movie called Disaster Movie, I think. And that's the one where Giselle from Enchanted is there, and so is the prince.
Right.
And Juno is there. And
right.
They break dance and everything. And it's the one where they have the song at the end that I think won an Emmy or something. Wow. or a Grammy, I don't know. But they had a song.
Grammy.
Who knows? They had a song where they were talking about who they were fucking. So Kung Fu Panda would be like, I'm fucking Jack Black, or, you know. Or he's like, I'm fucking Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's like, I'm fucking Indiana Jones. Or no, Kim Kardashian. Because I think Batman was fucking a bunch of high schoolers. He was like, and I'm fucking the high schoolers. And then Kim Kardashian was like, and I'm fucking Indiana. And she's the high schooler who fucked Indiana Jones, who is a black little person in that movie. And I think that's her only acting credit.
Good for her.
No, I think that was her first acting credit. But that's where I know her from.
That's good.
So she's the high school cheerleader who dated Indiana Jones.
Sad to see Keeping Up with the Kardashians going away. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, the title is kind of doesn't make sense anymore.
Now it's we won't be keeping up with the Kardashians.
It's like going back with the Kardashians. They should change it on all the streaming services.
Dang.
Or on the Blu-rays that they release. Could you imagine owning a show like that, like on DVD or Blu-ray? It just seems weird and gross to have someone's life just be like, look, I can just see what they were doing on Tuesday. Perverse.
Yeah, strange.
You know what else is perverse?
What?
Super Mario.
Okay.
He's a gross old man.
He's a plumber.
Actually, he's like 25.
Nice. No wonder that's why he can move so.
Isn't that strange? I would think he was like 40, but he's 25. Super Mario movie is officially coming in 2022 with Miyamoto involved as producer, and Mario's coming to the big screen. Last time I read this, it was going to be done by Illumination, who did...
Wait, animated?
Yeah.
I was hoping to be live action.
Who would you cast? Danny DeVito.
Tom
Holland. Well, if he has to be 25, I guess. But
no, I don't know.
Danny DeVito would be a good Mario, right?
Danny DeVito.
It's a little too old, probably.
Yeah.
I'm Mario.
Yeah.
They're doing Illumination. Minions people are doing the film. Who knows? I guess Sonic, they saw Sonic and were like, yes, it's totally cool to go through with this. Sonic was good. Sega can't beat us because Sega do what Nintendo don't. Do you remember that? Did you ever hear that when you were younger?
No.
Okay. I'll see it. I like Mario.
Sure.
I hope Peach is in it. I like Peach, but I like Daisy too.
I'm a big Rosalina fan.
Daisy. Rosalina's okay.
Daisy. What about Bowsette?
What about Rey Mysterio?
What?
I don't know. Did you care about wrestling?
No.
Never, ever, ever. I know. I don't know why I always ask.
Sorry.
Rey Mysterio was my first introduction to like lucha. You know, he was a WWE guy, and he'd wear the mask, and I always liked him. He'd do the high flying flips. You know, he would jump from the floor over the ropes and roll into the ring. A lot of cool stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
I think he did the 619 or something was his move, where he would like go on the rope and swing out the rope and kick you in the face.
Nice.
Very cool moves. I was big into him back in the day. And he's getting his own cartoon show, but exclusively in Latin America.
Guess we gotta move.
I'm going to need to get a VPN.
Right, that too.
NordVPN.
Sponsor us.
No.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, please. And watch the show with some English subs. But yeah, Latin American Cartoon Network is getting a Rey Mysterio cartoon show. And I don't know, I just thought that was neat because
That is interesting.
I thought he was like done wrestling. I thought he was like retired, but I guess not. I guess he's still doing something.
Well, his cartoon version is going to be doing something.
Yeah, yeah. So Rey Mysterio will tell the story of one of the most iconic luchador, a figure admired by all and star of the ring, but he will also delve into a great secret. Unimaginable forces threaten our world, and he will be a fundamental part of that fight. When their number one fan discovers the secret, together they will immerse themselves in a world where the excitement and adrenaline of wrestling coexist with mystery, mythology, history, magic, and supernatural beings. So it's like Coco, but for wrestling.
I was thinking like Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre and Coco have a kid. It becomes this Rey Mysterio show.
Nice.
Very cool. I'll probably actually watch clips of this and see if it's like... I want to see the animation and everything. You know,
Yeah.
I dig this kind of stuff.
Let's go.
But that's all. Oh, wait. This is basically the same story. But Christopher Nolan, who we're talking about today, he did something for Tenet.
He did a lot of things.
Why did Christopher Nolan actually blow up a real plane for Tenet? Do you know?
Why is that even a question? Because cinema. For cinema.
Well,
For movies.
There's a second reason why he actually blew up a real... What is it? Boeing something? Huge ass plane?
Ginormous plane.
There's a reason. And would you like to guess why he actually blew up a real plane?
So you're telling me there's a reason other than that he is notorious for doing things in camera?
Yep. There's another reason.
Was it a bet?
No.
I don't know.
It's a very interesting reason. He crunched the numbers, you know, man that he is. And he said...
It'd be cheaper?
Actually, it would be cheaper to blow up a real plane than to do it in CGI.
How about that?
It's actually cheaper to buy a plane and then blow it up than actually get realistic CGI to, you know, where he would get it. And less expensive than miniatures, too. So I thought that was interesting. Apparently planes at a certain age, they just have to be like completely retired, you know? They just get too dysfunctional. So really it's like the shell of a plane that used to be. Apparently there's yards and junkyards all over the place with just hundreds of planes just lying in them.
That'd be cool to go to one of those.
That would be cool. I would be cool to set a movie there, you know, like a chase.
Interesting.
And then they find the one that works and they're like, bingo, we're going. But I thought that blew my mind. I was like, really?
That
Less
is
expensive
interesting, yeah.
than CGI. But I mean,
Goes to show.
Yeah, why people even use CGI anymore?
What's the point? Let's start blowing stuff up.
Whenever you need CGI, like let's say there's like a monster in your movie, instead of CGIing a monster, just blow up a plane.
Exactly.
It'd be perfect.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. And with that, we're done with the news.
Woo!
Yeah, woo. And our weeks took us a while to get there today.
Love it.
Took us a while. So maybe we should try to... I don't want to blast through Christopher Nolan, but, you know, I want to think about people's time and not want to waste their time, even though that's all I've been doing today. So let's get right into it. Christopher Nolan, his debut film, following 1998. It's only like an hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah. It's only... so I don't even... It doesn't even qualify, right?
Yeah, feature. No, I don't think it does.
Yeah. It's his first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. His first movie, he's already going crazy with time.
It's black and white, so they didn't have to care about lighting as much, similar to Spike Lee.
Yep. Basically, it's a guy who
a writer
follows people.
Yeah.
And he ends up following a guy who's a thief, and he gets in with them, and they start stealing stuff, and
Yeah.
then bad thing happens.
Bad things happen. This film, again, like we said, already doing time stuff. There's just two timelines, right? Oh,
3.
there is 3. But one of them just kind of doesn't make sense and just happens whenever. Because I remember near the beginning of the film, he coughs up the glove, remember?
Yeah.
And it's just like randomly put in there. It doesn't really match up with anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's in the future and then in the past. It's the 2 timelines, right?
Yeah.
And it's effective, I think. It's not so convoluted that you lose track.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good. For the first movie that you ever make, it's good.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I was definitely had lower expectations already going in.
Yeah.
So I guess I was pleasantly surprised almost.
Yeah, well, I heard that the budget for this movie is only like $6,000.
Makes sense. I can kind of tell at certain points.
Yeah, but that's pretty good for $6K.
That is pretty good. Another thing I thought about when watching this movie, there was an actor for Cobb who I think this was the only acting thing he did really.
Cobb.
And there were some lines that he read, and I was just like, man, that was the best take you got, right? I was like, oh.
Ooh, you were being critical.
There were a few rough ones. There was one that was really bad, and that's when I really pointed it out. But then I thought about it for a second. I was like, this isn't really Cobb's fault. It's going to sound really mean. I was like, this Christopher Nolan's just as good of a writer as he was when he wrote Following. He just got better actors. But that's kind of a compliment, of an insult.
Dog.
It's like a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, you're just as good of a writer as you've always been. You just got better actors.
This is a pro Christopher Nolan podcast, just so everybody knows.
Just so everybody knows.
This is all with love. We love Christopher Nolan's movies.
But for the most part, I think.
We like what Christopher Nolan does. We like what he stands for.
Well, when you think about directors, there's directors who are like acting directors. They really get with the actors and get inside their heads, and that's kind of their focus.
Yeah.
And then you have directors like Christopher Nolan who are a lot more technical directors. They're on top of all that, and he is 100% a technical director.
Very much.
Probably one of the best, if not like the best.
Oh, he's great.
Technical director in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
show.
Not including sound, but
yeah, we'll get to
we'll get to that a little bit later. I don't know if I have much else to say about Following It.
If you love Christopher Nolan,
worth it. Yeah,
watch it. It's his first movie ever. 2000.
Memento. Have you seen this before the show?
Yes, I saw this a long time ago, actually.
I think I saw half of this a long time ago. I don't think I ever finished it, but I finally got to.
Nice.
Again.
So you got it recent.
Yeah. Again, time shenanigans, but this time it is I
like it in this movie.
Oh, I love it in this movie. It's a guy who has short-term memory loss. For some reason he can remember that. I don't know.
Well, his memory loss was long-term, so long ago. So he can't remember the short things, but he got memory loss.
Right, but that doesn't mean in 30 years he'll remember 20 years ago. In 30 years he'll remember 30, however many. I don't know. They never explain it, but it doesn't bother me. I just thought of it now.
Right.
Anyway, he has short-term memory loss, and he's trying to find whoever killed his wife and gave him short-term memory loss. Some John G. That's all he knows.
Right.
He knows a few other things. But John G. And that's the whole movie is working backwards from...
Yeah, every scene is backward. In color.
Yeah. Working backwards from the successful murder, to the beginning of this little adventure. Right? Kind of. And in black and white...
Yeah, intercutting throughout the film in black and white is the main character man in a room in a hotel. I saw it a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
And he just is on the phone all the time, talking with people.
Somebody.
And all those scenes are happening in normal chronological order, and eventually
they meet
up. Genius.
Works very well in this film. I think it was a short story that was turned into a short story that Jonathan Nolan wrote that got turned into the full feature.
Nice.
Right. Probably maybe the most effective as far as time stuff goes in his movies because,
Yeah,
you know,
could be.
however, Guy Pearce is the main character in this one, who we talked about before in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, in our LGBT episode.
Right.
Was a drag queen.
Yeah.
That was funny. Just going from that to this. He's great. He's great in this. He gives the character a lot of depth that it doesn't actually have. You know, like his character is. I mean, he doesn't even know who he is. So I think he did a great job making us sympathize with somebody like that. Carrie-Anne Moss also similarly has a great performance. A scene in particular that I really enjoyed was one where she basically started berating him, calling him an idiot, and much worse, calling his dead wife, a whore. You know, and she's like, in 5 minutes, you're not going to remember this. I can say whatever the fuck I want. And he punches her, and then he's like, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
I like that scene a lot from her.
That's funny.
Yeah. There's one thing, though, about this film on a rewatch. Don't know how much I'd enjoy it on a rewatch.
I have never rewatched this movie, so I cannot say.
Exactly. Knowing how every scene is connected, because that's kind of what gets you. It's like, why did this scene start like this? And then you watch it and you're like, oh, that's why. I get it. It literally connects to the line that starts each scene with each interlocking scene.
Right.
So it's just slowly going back and back. So knowing the whole journey already, I don't think this would be a very fun movie to rewatch. Except for the certain scenes where the acting is nice, like the one I just talked about. I feel like it might be kind of boring because you'd get it. He doesn't know. He doesn't remember, but we do.
Right. Yeah, we don't have short-term memory loss.
Right. You might need to have short-term memory loss to enjoy Memento twice.
Huh. Memento.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Nolan's next film? Memento?
He has shorter-term memory loss. Anyway, I think we can move on to the 2002 film Insomnia.
This is the only movie that Christopher Nolan didn't write.
Or like adapt.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's not like a credited writer on the movie. I think this is the only one.
Possibly. Maybe.
Pretty sure. Not 100%, but
okay, what do you think of it?
I'm pretty sure. I liked it. I didn't think it was great, but I liked it. I think this movie is like trying really hard to be like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Did you get that too?
Really hard.
I was like, this is like really like Silence of the Lambs, especially towards the end.
And doesn't have Hillary, what's her name?
Who?
Swank? Hillary Swank?
Hillary Swank's in it, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about her in the LGBT episode.
Yeah, we did.
There we go. 2 for 2. Well, not the following, but whatever. Yeah, trying really hard. Robin Williams is in this film.
Yep.
As the baddie.
The baddie, yeah.
Which is a very interesting... He a baddie.
Robin was a baddie, though.
But basically, Al Pacino is this...
Might act up.
...detective who has this case where a girl's gone missing. And he accidentally...
Kind of accidentally.
He ends up shooting his partner. And the rest of the movie is him trying to solve this case while also trying to cover up how he murdered his own partner.
And he can't sleep. That's why it's called Insomnia.
It's in Alaska, right? And it's always light out.
Yeah, Alaska.
For all the time. And I feel like this was the kind of movie that you would like see in another movie.
Whoa. That's so true.
You know? Like if there was a movie on in the background of a movie, it would be this movie.
That's truth.
So the janitor, and I'm thinking of ending things, might as well have been watching Insomnia. Dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, plenty of good things in this film.
Yeah.
Robin Williams in particular, maybe it was just because it was a different type of role that I wasn't really used to seeing him in. As a dark individual who murdered a 17-year-old girl or something like that.
Yeah,
younger girl.
Young.
Yeah, in high school. And just the kind of, he doesn't play like a absolute lunatic, like bonkers, like I'm crazy. He plays a very gentle, kind of psychopath. You
Yo.
know, I feel like he does a good job. It was nice seeing him in something again. I haven't seen
I haven't seen him in a movie in forever.
a very long time. Al Pacino, good.
He's always good.
Yeah. He's just kind of doing Al Pacino.
He's very tired.
Yeah, very, very tired. Insomnia.
That'll
he
get to
suffers
you.
from. And yeah, it's just a movie. You're like, I've seen this before. I've seen this movie. You know,
Is whatever. Is aight.
the blood stuff with like on the carpet. You know, when it was the close up of like the blood soaking through the carpet. That was like a cool visual, I guess. The opening titles were nice.
I like the set of the house, the little cabin in the woods with like all the cool bridges like going up to it, and it's kind of like on that little island. That was cool.
That is cool. Yeah, the last shootout was kind of fun as well.
Yeah, that was all right.
That was a pretty fun little thing. But I think we can move on to a big movie in his career, which is 2005, Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
It does begin.
I have a hot take.
Okay. I don't think it's going to be as hot as you think it is.
This movie blows.
This movie sucks.
This is like Christopher Nolan's worst movie, and it's not close.
I think it's his second worst movie.
What's worse than Batman Begins?
The Dark Knight.
Oh, how could I forget?
No, The Dark Knight Rises.
You really think Dark Knight Rises
I
is
hate
worse?
The Dark Knight Rises.
It's not worse than Batman Begins. I'm sorry.
I didn't rewatch Batman Begins, but I hate The Dark Knight Rises so much.
I did. I rewatched both of those.
Oh, you did?
Well, I haven't. I've seen Batman Begins, but I haven't seen Batman Begins. Does that make sense?
Are you blind? Like, I haven't literally.
Okay. I watched. Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
I saw it recently.
Batman Begins. So tell us about it. Plot.
Batman he gets trained by Ra's al Ghul and Liam Neeson.
Well, they're the same person, but yes.
Right. Sorry, I'm not well versed on the lore.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy is Scarecrow. He's great.
Very cool villain.
I thought about this. Like, why is Cillian Murphy like not a superstar?
I think after A Quiet Place 2, he'll really get to where you want him to be.
Okay, I hope so. Because I don't know. I just feel like he's a good actor, and
I agree. I like seeing him.
He's handsome.
I think he's he's kind of that weird handsome where he's not. He's kind of like he's got a peculiar face.
Yeah,
he's not exactly traditionally handsome like Hugh Jackman or someone like that.
I like when I think it's like the first time that Batman and him meet up, and he's got the Scarecrow mask on, and he says something to Batman. He's like, blah, 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 blah. You need to lighten up. And he lights him on fire. I just don't know why it's funny. King Joffrey is in this movie.
I totally forgot that.
I saw it, and he's like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, that kid looks so familiar. And I could just see in the eyes, I was like, that is King Joffrey, the demon child.
Wow.
And I looked it up, and I was right.
Very cool.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just a little kid in the movie.
I remember finding the first half of this movie pretty difficult to sit through.
It's boring. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I remember it just being kind of boring. And again, I'm not a huge Batman person, you know? Is Talia even? I don't even remember Talia's in this movie. I didn't rewatch.
Who's that?
That's Ra's al Ghul's daughter. She has cool storylines with that. But, yeah, I remember the first half just being kind of boring, and then the second half being, like, unfulfilling. Because Scarecrow's, like, a really cool villain and super underutilized in Batman Begins. Like, there's the bats. Like, it's, what is it? What is that movie? Lost Holiday?
I don't know.
Never mind. You know, think about all the things you could do with Scarecrow, a person who, these drugs that make you have crazy, like, daydream nightmares, you know? Mm-hmm. And then there's bats. It feels undercooked a little bit in that.
It's also... It's his first time really doing any sort of like action, really. I mean, Insomnia has like a little bit of action, but nothing to the scale of like Batman and like crazy stuff going on. And I think some of the action sequences are like all right, but I don't think any of them really stand out like in his later films.
Yeah, I guess I could agree with that. Sure.
Yeah, this movie's not very good.
Not very good. If you like Batman, you'll probably like it, but if not, I don't know how they got a second one.
That's crazy.
What do you think of Christian Bale, though? just as Batman.
I like him very much as Batman.
I like him a lot too. And Alfred, Michael Caine as Alfred is also.
He's in every Christopher Nolan movie, except for Insomnia.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think he was in
everyone that he's written. He always gets a part for Michael Caine
and Following.
Well, yeah, Following doesn't count.
That doesn't count. The Prestige. We can move on, right?
Yes,
okay.
I don't want to talk about Batman Begins anymore.
The Prestige from 2006, immediately after Batman Begins. So Batman was the Fade. What is it? The Turn, the something, and then the Prestige. Was it the Fade? Oh, you didn't rewatch this one.
No, I saw the Prestige a while ago.
Well, the whole thing about the Prestige is that the Prestige, that magic tricks are broken up into 3 parts. The Turn, the second part, and the Prestige is like the big final reveal where everyone claps. You don't clap until you reveal.
Right.
You know? So it's about these 2 magicians, Hugh Jackman and
Christian Bale,
who used to work together, but now they're kind of competing. Again, timeline stuff, shenanigans a little bit in this film, because you have the future at the... I guess it's not as serious. It's more of like a in media res than anything. But there are 2 magicians who just want to have the best show, so they're kind of competing. They want to know each other's secrets, so they, spy on each other. They ruin each other's acts. The guy, Hugh Jackman, because of Christian Bale's character, his wife passes away because a trick goes wrong because Christian Bale did something wrong. And that was an interesting thing that I thought was weird of the film. A major part of Christian Bale's character in this movie is that he doesn't know if he tied the knot the wrong way and that's what caused her to die. He doesn't know. But the movie really heavily, I don't know knots, right? I don't know what knots look like, but it really heavily implies that he did tie the knot that he wasn't supposed to. And then the whole movie he spends it being like, oh, I don't know. And the conclusion to that is, oh, he really doesn't know. Kind of like Insomnia. You know what I mean? Which was weird because it really heavily implies that, no, he totally knew what he was doing. I thought that was a weird choice of just like, for the wife to be like, yeah, do it. And then the whole time he's like, I don't know. Just an odd choice for that. This was a book, I believe, that was adapted.
I didn't know that.
I think it is.
Everything's a book.
Everything's a book.
It seems like that.
It does seem like that. And yeah, they just go at each other. And David Bowie's in this movie.
David Bowie.
He plays Tesla, Nikolai Tesla. And real magic
makes zappies for
happens.
teleporting.
I mean, it's science, but it's real magic happens in this film. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting actual magic. But it's not teleportation, is it?
Not really.
It's not teleportation. What is it?
I don't really remember, to be honest. It's like cloning.
It's a cloning device.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So it will reclone Hugh Jackman in it, because Christian Bale's real big trick was the transporting man.
Yeah, from the door to the door.
You go from one cabinet, and then he'd throw a ball, he'd close the door, then he'd open the door in the other cabinet, he'd catch the ball. He'd be like, look, I went from across the room. Hugh Jackman's like, should I get a body double? And he does try a body double for a while. He's like, this isn't going to cut it. I need to clone myself. Okay, well, he doesn't say that. He doesn't know what the machine is, but he ends up cloning himself, and every time he does the trick, he drowns a copy of himself because there can only be one.
Yeah.
So he's killing himself basically every night and letting his clone self kind of continue his legacy.
Yeah. Which that's not revealed till like the end, right?
That's not revealed till like the end, but it was obvious because when they first reveal how the thing works, you see all the top hats. So obviously there's more. I thought that was also a weird reveal because I was like, we already know that it makes copies, not does whatever. So I thought that was very strange as well. I was like, obviously he just murders them. Then there's like another twist. This is a very twisty film.
Yeah.
Where you find out that Christian Bale did have a body double. And this is where I really lose the plot for this one. His body double was a twin brother who...
Yep. It's coming back to me.
Yeah, who... They just... I guess maybe one brother was into... They both love magic so much that they were willing to pretend for their whole lives that there was only one of them. And the other was like a a mute engineer who just followed them around. Very strange plan. They really want to be magicians. I don't get it personally. If you're a magician, write us in. Tell us why you love your profession so much.
Sure.
Because it really is like, I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because the character, you don't really get to know either of them because you barely get to know the one when it's really two people. Right. So it's like, I feel like I've learned 25% of a person, you know? And obviously he's in jail for most of it. So you don't even get, and when he's not in jail, he is a mute disguised as somebody else, you know? So you don't really get to know him very well, other than he likes magic a lot.
Loves magic.
But both of them love magic so much.
They do.
He's willing to cut his fingers off for magic. And not even real magic. It's an illusion.
Anything for the trick, bro, right?
That's what
it's like do it for the vine.
It's like do it for the vine. You know what? I understand now. Here's where this film gets me a little bit. These people love magic so much that they literally have an invention that could give them unlimited money, as much money that they ever wanted. They could solve world hunger. They could make a smaller machine and put it in that machine and then have unlimited machines and everyone could have a machine. But no. Magic.
Magic, baby. Let's go.
Like, he loves magic. It's obviously not about the money because he could just make more money. Just put money in the machine and then more money. And then you could double that money because then you get all the money and put it in the money. And all that money is money.
Money.
I just had problems with this film because nobody loves magic that much. I don't care if you're from the 1700s.
David Blaine. David Blaine does not love magic this much.
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I bet. If David Blaine just, like, appeared because he's magic, like, in this room right now, that would...
Well, did you see what he did, like, last week or something?
Make the Statue of Liberty disappear?
He flew with balloon. He had balloons, and he let them take him off the ground, and he, like, flew for, like, 2 hours.
It's not magic.
With balloons. Well, yeah, I know it's not magic, but he does crazy stuff like that.
That's just balloons.
I know, but, like...
I'm not impressed.
That's cool.
I've seen Up. He moved a whole house. What's one David Blaine compared to a whole house?
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
He also parked it perfectly. Whatever. What's next?
The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Hey, we have a poster of The Dark Knight in the studio
It's
here.
right over there, but you can't see it.
You can't see it, but it is there. It says, "Why so serious?" It's the Joker. He's painting it in blood.
It's a very cool poster.
It's a cool poster. I think I got it for like $8 or something. It was a steal.
A steal.
Normally, I wouldn't get something like that because of all the things the Joker is associated with nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's still a neat little poster.
It is cool, and it's just chilling.
So what is your opinion of The Dark Knight in relation to his whole filmography?
Right. Well, I would say that most people probably would say that this is his best movie. And I feel like a lot of people also say that this is like his masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I do not agree with that.
I do not.
I think this movie is very good. But I don't think it's his best. I'd put it in the top 3.
Yeah, sure.
Of Nolan films, but not my favorite, but very good.
I think it is not my favorite. Well, I don't think it's my favorite. I guess it has a tie, maybe. But I think it is 100% his most entertaining movie. It is,
yeah. That you maybe.
What would you say?
Inception might be a little more.
I think Inception is too convoluted for some people. And they lose the plot too easily because I did the first time. So I think The Dark Knight is his most entertaining, watch it, have a good time movie. You know, I don't think it's his best. And it's not. I don't think it's my favorite because I think Inception is my favorite.
Interesting.
But I think it's his most entertaining. But I think his best is a separate film from both of those two.
Yo, what's up? Listen. So people can say this movie's a masterpiece. That's fine. You can think whatever you want.
Have your beliefs.
But there's one stone cold hard fact in this movie that sucks. It's so
my gosh.
So bad.
You're right.
Even if I thought this movie was perfect, I could never ever call this movie a masterpiece because this one singular part literally will ruin it. You can't call this film a masterpiece. I'm sorry.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you say it Do you know how many people could have the film ruined for them right now if you say this out loud? Do you know the power you have?
Well, if they don't notice, then are they really watching?
But what about the people who like saw it in the theater and maybe watched it one more time and then, never seen it ever again, and they're like, "Wow, yeah, it's like my favorite movie."
Okay.
You're going to ruin it for them?
Everybody's lives.
Ruin it for them the next time
know.
they watch it. If you never watch it again, you should still be safe. But if you ever watch it again,
go on YouTube.
Hold on, stop. If you want to love this movie forever and watch it again, pause this, go watch it, and then come back if you need one final fix of, yeah, this movie's great.
Go on YouTube and look up The Dark Knight opening sequence, the opening bank robbery.
Fantastic
great,
sequence.
awesome sequence.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, there's a blunder late into the sequence when they're getting the money, and the guy's like, we're just waiting for the bus driver.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, bus driver? What bus driver? And then a big bus comes crashing through the wall and hits him.
And he falls over.
And dies.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, I don't know if it's just the angle where he set the camera. I don't know. But it is so unconvincing, and you can tell that he is like at least like 10 feet away from this bus.
He is socially distant from this bus, at least.
It is horrendous. There's no way this bus even came close to him. You can tell that he's just getting yanked by a wire.
It's really bad.
It is awful. I dread that part. I'm watching the movie, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. And then I remember that that's about to happen. I say, it sucks.
Gotta close your eyes and just pretend it didn't happen.
It is like really terrible, and it makes me mad.
It is. It's really bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I had to say that.
It's like if we took one of these like off the wall.
Yeah, one of the foam pads behind us and just ripped it. I don't know what to say. I hope someone got fired for that.
It's bad.
No,
it's
I know.
Really bad.
It really is. And once you notice it, you can never unsee it. Because I feel like, your eye goes to the bus. It goes up. You're like, oh, bus. But if you pay attention to the guy, you're like, why did that guy just flail over for no reason?
He didn't even get it. Not even close.
Maybe they'll make a Dark Knight sequel that's not The Dark Knight Rises, and it'll be that guy, and he'll be like, I was faking. I didn't even get hit by the bus. And he'll be like the new villain. And
now that I could get into.
Yeah, he could be like the new Joker.
Joker 2.
Joker 2.
Nice.
And then when they do Joker 3, it could be JOK3R. They need to make a Joker sequel just so they can use that idea.
Yeah.
What can you say about this that hasn't been said already?
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, everything's been said. I mean, Heath Ledger, phenomenal. No one's ever going to top him as Joker. I'm sorry, Joaquin. It's not happening.
Is it still a huge gap for you, or is it closer?
I mean, Joaquin is really good. I think they both kind of go for a little different versions.
Certainly.
But, I mean, we don't even really get to see Joaquin as Joker.
Right. I'm remiss that Joaquin Phoenix will never get to do a Joker versus Batman. Like, we'll never get to see Joaquin Phoenix talk to the Batman. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could be a very interesting thing, but I'm not going to worry about it because it'll never happen. So who cares?
Yeah. I mean, Heath Ledger flipping the truck.
Right.
Flipping the truck is like freaking awesome.
It's very cool. The way Harvey Dent is integrated into the story and turns into Two-Face is very well done, I thought. It felt very natural.
For real. And the VFX for 2008 on his face.
Yeah. Very gross.
For Nolan, who, he's not in... Actually, not a lot of people know this, but they actually burned half of his face off.
Wow.
He said,
he's a method actor.
He's a method actor. He's like Daniel Day-Lewis. He wanted to really get into the character, so they burned half his face off. Pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing, yeah.
Aaron Eckhart.
Good job, man.
Great job. And then facial reconstruction, obviously, for
right, yeah, they grafted some skin off his thigh and put it on his face. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. That's how you make movies. Christopher Nolan,
it's all in camera.
I'm in awe of you. But we can move on to his next film, which is 2010's
Paprika. Paprika.
Inception. Yes, BWAAAA indeed.
Inception.
I didn't say something, but let me go back and say something first. Is Inception the first movie where the sound really starts becoming a problem, where it's like going over dialogue and you like start missing stuff? Because it could be. I got
Probably.
it a little bit in The Prestige, like occasionally, but they also had accents and stuff, so it could have been that. But Inception is probably the first one where people were like, this is a issue. Like, it's very loud, Christopher. Can you...
Hans.
Yeah, it's very loud. Could you...
With your wows.
The neighbors complained. They called, they're going to call the cops if you don't turn it down, Christopher, right now.
It's
Right?
not as loud as Tenet, which is a good thing, I guess.
Tenet is his loudest film. They're getting louder.
Eventually, Nolan's last film is just going to be screaming.
It's going to be like a bass boosted meme. You know what I mean? Just like...
Ear rape. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It's going to be like that.
I would love that if Nolan just made an ear rape movie.
But Inception, Leonardo DiCaprio, it's a sequel to Titanic, which is always fun.
Right.
Right. They go into dreams. Ellen Page is there. And they fight. There's so many. This is something where like we said Batman Begins kind of didn't use the whole scarecrow idea to its fullest. I feel like he really uses the dream idea effectively in this film. It's
show
used very well. The effects, the whole city bending kind of idea,
super awesome looking,
very awesome looking. Still, it's very trippy.
Trippy.
Yeah.
This I was about to say something and I forgot. It was about the movie.
I would hope. Which aspect? Any idea? I like that.
Oh, it was about the idea of Inception. I think is really the idea of like going into somebody's mind to like take an idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's extraction. Sorry, that's like the main thing.
True.
First is extraction, to like take some or like get something from somebody, information. And Inception is like something that like not that you don't really do that, and that's like putting an idea in somebody's mind, which is like I want to protect myself.
Right. It's very interesting. It's like Persona 5.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just from a sci-fi basis is
It's super cool.
Very cool thing. Don't think it's that realistic. I don't see that being a possibility.
That'd be so cool.
It'd be very dangerous. I would not be psyched about that. I'd be very afraid.
That'd be sweet.
I'd be very afraid of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people say this movie's really confusing.
I feel like people say it's more confusing than it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a little blown out of proportion. It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, as long as you keep track and pay attention.
Right, especially towards the end when they get really deep
Yeah.
into the levels of the dream. As long as you're just like, yeah, okay. The snow area is like the deepest level, and then, back. But, I mean, a lot of things don't really make sense, but who cares?
Right, sure. The one thing that I forget, I remember reading a big old write-up about this film where they proved one of the endings, if it was a dream or not. But I'll be real, I don't remember.
I forgot about the ending. This is like one of the all-time endings.
Yeah.
This is like consumed media.
Not my favorite ending ever, but it's up
Right.
there.
It's an all-timer. It's like a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think? What do you have an opinion? Like, do you think is it a dream or not?
I remember when I watched it, my first thing was that it was not a dream when I first watched it, and I've just kind of gone with that. But I don't remember what the truth is because people did like real research. They're like this, and this, but I don't remember what they came to. I remember thinking it was really interesting. I was like, wow, I wouldn't have noticed these things.
So here's what I can take.
Okay.
So when they finish Inception and then they're all back on the plane.
Okay.
They're on the plane. And then they all just kind of look at each other and they're all just like, yep, we did it. And then they just all like go away. When he's like walking through the airport, a lot of people are like looking at him, which is a sign that we learned earlier. Like if everyone's looking at you, that's really bad. for in the dream, because
Yeah.
that means like your subconscious is like doing whatever. But then the other thing is that at the very end, when he spins the top, then his kids finally, you actually see their faces for the first time, which you don't for the whole movie.
Yeah.
So that was like an indicator, like, oh yes, it's real. But then before, everyone's like looking at him,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, could be really either way. I lean more towards it's not a dream,
Okay.
but I mean, you never really know. That's
Could
just my 2 cents.
I liked the ending being vague that way. I thought it was very
Yeah, it's good.
yes, satisfying to have that kind of question in your mind.
Yeah, and of course,
So-
talk about it over dinner.
Right. True. Next film.
Wait, I
Okay.
wanted to mention one more thing
go
about this
for it.
movie. Probably one of the best, if not the best, action set piece
In
of
his
all of his
films?
movies is the hallway.
Yeah.
The hallway scene is freaking awesome. And if you've never seen like the behind the scenes of that, the
Yeah.
thing they built is so wicked.
Yeah. Very cool.
And I mean, they're just like twisting it, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like flying around like a crazy man. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that.
I guess his crazy stuff with that might have started with The Dark Knight when he got really, really crazy with that kind of.
Yeah, The Dark Knight, they flipped the truck, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "You can't flip a semi-truck. It's not possible."
Yeah. And it kind of went from there.
Yeah.
But then we get to The Dark Knight Rises in 2012.
He was really nuts in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
Well, we'll talk about the movie stuff, but
Okay.
the plane sequence
yeah,
at
yeah.
the beginning is
Another
really
opening sequence that's really fun.
really cool.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
What does he say? What's his first line? Bane.
I don't
We have to
remember.
do a Bane impression. What does he say? What's the first thing he says? Like, why would you say that to a man right before you throw him out of a plane,
Right,
or something like that?
I only remember the ones that everyone repeated all the time. It was like, that would be very painful for you.
I was born in the darkness,
yeah.
molded by it. You merely adopted the
We're
dark.
becoming like old men, not Bane. It's weird. No, I don't know what was up with that either, Tom.
Maybe we should do like this, and then it would be
Oh,
better.
try it.
I was born in the darkness, molded by it. You merely adopted the dark.
Batman.
I don't know.
This is another movie where the talking with the mask and then like planes and then score. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying, Bane?
I always have subtitles on.
I know you have to, and I don't know. Like sometimes it's just not great. And of course, Batman's doing the. It's really I guess I felt it in this film, in The Dark Knight Rises, where I was like, what are you saying? Catwoman, please, just say normal things.
I love Anne Hathaway though.
You
in
do?
this movie.
As Catwoman?
Yeah, I think she's pretty great.
I don't think she's bad, but I think it's just because she really does not that much.
Yeah,
I
she
feel
don't
that
get
way
a lot
about
to
it.
do.
So I guess I just wish she got to do more. Is really what
Right.
I'm saying.
I agree, but I think she's good as
Yeah.
character.
Better than Halle Berry.
Much.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I haven't even really seen that. I've seen the one scene that you're not supposed to see, the like basketball scene or whatever.
Yeah, the
It's just
basketball
like,
scene.
what is
That's the
going on?
scene. That's the one.
So yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Okay, I hate Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character in this movie. I hate it. He's stupid and he does
who is
nothing.
he?
Well, he ends up being Robin / Nightwing.
Yeah, but which? So he's Dick Grayson.
I don't know.
Dick Grayson is Nightwing. I think.
Okay, well he's not Nightwing. What's Nightwing's name?
Dick Grayson.
Okay, no, because
But he was Robin, and then he becomes Nightwing, like Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson starts as Robin, and then he sheds the Robin thing and becomes his own superhero called Nightwing.
okay, well maybe that's it, because there's a really stupid scene at the end of this movie where he like walks. It's like after Batman dies or whatever,
yeah.
and he's like walking in to like get something from like the bank or something, and she's like, "Why don't you use your real name? I like it." And he's like, "I don't go by that name," and she's like, "Robin."
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh my god, it's so stupid. And then he goes to the Batcave or whatever.
Wasn't this the movie where he was like, count to 5, then throw? And then he throws it immediately, and when you count, it blows up at like 3.
What?
Or something? Was that
I
this
don't
movie?
know.
It's like, count to 5, then throw. And he throws it immediately, and you go 1, 2. I was like, he would have died. If he would have counted to 5, he would be dead.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
One thing I do like about this movie is the whole like terrorist attack that Bane pulls at the football field, and he like traps all the cops underground and like blows up all the bridges. I think that was really cool.
He uses time foolery again in this movie because, you know, sometimes it's evening in one scene, and then the camera cuts, it's like broad daylight, or they go outside and then it's like broad daylight, or it goes straight to night with no evening in between. So Chris Nolan very intentionally, I think, and definitely not just an oversight, you know, using time as a little manipulation.
And also, in one of the earlier scenes when Batman and Catwoman team up to fight a bunch of goons, if you notice, one of the goons has reverse entropy.
Oh yeah,
and he's fighting nobody.
No, he fights no one. Maybe the Invisible Woman showed up. Oh wait, that's Marvel. I don't know.
So I saw like the clip of that like forever ago,
Yeah.
but I never actually saw it because I've only seen the movie once. But I actually rewatched it this past week. So when we got to that scene, I looked for it just to make sure that's actually in the movie.
Real, yeah.
And lo and behold, there's
it
literally
is.
a guy just like punching the air in the corner.
Do you think maybe he like forgot what to do and was just hoping no one would notice, and nobody noticed? Like, how does that even happen?
It's so like, how does that get through?
I don't know.
It's
I don't
funny.
know about that. I didn't like. I remember feeling very disinterested in most of the characters in this one. I was just like, oh, I don't care about Catwoman very much because they didn't let me. It's like, I don't care about Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I feel it. I think Michael Caine has a good performance in this movie.
Yeah,
actually.
You know what? Yeah, I will agree to that.
He's not in it too much. He's in like right at the beginning and then right at the end.
Mm-hmm. I have nothing else to say about The Dark Knight Rises.
Do you think Batman actually died? Right. What's the? I can't remember. He goes out and he blows up, but I can't remember what the cliffhanger is that he's actually alive. What was the thing that
Paris?
like teases? Oh, Michael Caine sees him.
Yeah.
But that could
it's
have been
his body double from The Magician.
The Magician.
No, you know, The Prestige.
Prestige,
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, but it could have been in his head, so I don't know.
2 years after that, we have Interstellar. 2014.
I love Interstellar. Listen, so I watched it the first time, like when it came out, and I was like, this is okay. I rewatched it this past week, and I loved it the second time. I don't know what it was, but I really loved it the second time.
I hate Interstellar.
Wow.
I don't hate it, but like I really.
Did you rewatch it?
No, because I don't like it. Why would I rewatch something I don't like?
Okay.
But I have seen it twice, I think. Just I rewatched it like with a friend or something. I don't like this movie very much.
I love this movie.
I don't like Matthew McConaughey in this movie. I don't like any of the acting in this movie.
No way. This is crazy. We're like opposites right now.
Yeah, I hate the performances in this film.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Everyone feels so fake. I thought I was watching Inception and this was all like a dream and somebody was going to wake up and be like, wow, nobody talks like that in real life. Thank God. I feel like the writing in this one is just awful.
Well, yeah.
I guess maybe it's the writing more than the acting. It's like them doing their best.
I will agree the writing might not be 100%, but I'm not, as a sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
but that's another thing that gets me mad because they barely explore a lot of this. Like, the sci-fi of this Earth is, like, never explained even a little bit.
Yeah, it's just, like, dust.
It's just, like, accept it.
There's only corn.
Yeah.
All that's left is corn. It's funny because there's one scene where they're, like, eating dinner, and you can see they have, like, a corn on the cob and then just, like, normal corn on the side.
Yeah.
And then, like, cornmeal something.
Yeah.
That's like their whole meal.
Right.
It's just really stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should take it back and say not the performances, but the writing, because it's probably unfair to Matthew McConaughey. He's a very talented actor.
Yeah, when he sees his kids and he starts crying.
I guess it's just the writing that I really despised in this.
Despise? That's strong.
Yeah, because every like beat that like happened, I like when they're on the planet and they're like time, you know, just every part of it just felt so.
Do not go gentle into that good night.
Just felt like shallow to me. I don't know. Maybe I should have watched it again.
Well, you don't have to.
Exactly. I don't have to. I was just very unimpressed. There are sequences in this film that are like amazing. Like, okay, the music in this film.
This is literally one of the best scores ever.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable.
Fantastic.
And it didn't win the Oscar, by the way.
Yeah. But I'm not a person who's like swayed by music. A lot of people I know, if something has good music to it, they'll be like, that's the best thing ever. I was like,
interesting.
No, the song is good. The stuff is garbage.
Right.
So I find that I can separate them pretty easily. Music's goosebumps. Like literally really goosebumps good. Every single time.
Mountains is like an unbelievable track. Yeah.
But the rest of it. And the little robots, I didn't like them very much.
You don't like Case and Tars?
I thought they were annoying.
Come on, Tars!
Yeah.
Come on!
I don't know. Talk about why you like it more. I've been going on.
Okay, well, I'm a big sci-fi fan.
True.
And I like
that it's a prequel to the Halo series.
And I'm really big into like space exploration. And I've always had a dream. It's a really stupid dream, but I've always wanted to go into a black hole. And believe it or not, in this movie, Matthew McConaughey goes into a black hole. So I guess I'm like really attached to Matthew McConaughey's character because he does like exactly what I want to do. And he literally goes into a black hole, enters a new dimension, communicates with his daughter from the past.
Yeah.
And
time stuff again.
Like saves the world basically, kind of. And that is like, that's what I want to do.
You want to save the world?
No, I just want to go into a black hole.
Okay, well, you'll probably just
but no one will
have your atoms ripped up.
I know what happens when you go in a black hole.
You'll turn into
but
spaghetti.
Maybe I could be like Matthew McConaughey and make it.
I don't think you will. But I don't know. Who knows? Go to the White Rose's machine and fire it up and see what happens.
Okay, I'll do that. You know what? Maybe I will. And I just am a huge fan. I think this is the most beautiful Chris Nolan movie. Yeah. I mean, the imagery when they're going by Gargantua or whatever, it is like,
yeah.
I mean, come on. Or when they're going through the wormhole for the first time,
docking,
it's like unbelievable. The docking scene,
where Matthew McConaughey takes his penis and inserts it into the head.
Whoa.
Into the foreskin of another man's penis.
Okay.
That's what docking is.
I know what it is.
Okay, I was just making sure. For anybody that doesn't know. The sounding scene, now that's...
Okay. We're done.
I don't know.
We're done.
It is beautiful. So much for practical effects, though.
I mean, there
should have went to space.
There's quite a lot of
There actually are a lot.
There's quite a lot.
There could be a lot less.
Yeah, I mean, the mountain scene. What is it called? The mountain scene because of the track, or is it called waves? The waves scene.
Might be wave. Yeah.
I don't know, but that scene is like, I think it's one of the all-time Chris Nolan scenes. It's not a mountain.
Yeah.
They're waves.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what? And you're like, the docking scene is amazing. There's an amazing video on YouTube. I think it might be hard to find, but I think it's titled like Interstellar Update 2018.
Okay.
Or something like that.
2018, simpler times.
But it's the docking scene, but instead of the Endurance spaceship, it's a giant fidget spinner.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And you have to see this if you're a fan of cinema.
Yeah, if you're a fan of fidget spinners,
it's amazing.
Also,
it's amazing video. Yeah. I can't believe you don't like Interstellar. That's okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm really big into sci-fi, and you're not as much as I am. So it makes
probably
sense.
most of it, and they just talk weird writings. I don't like it.
They do talk weird. I agree.
But we're moving on to what I think is his best film.
I agree. Good. That this is the best Christopher Nolan movie.
Perfect. Is it? Did you say? Yeah. Okay. 2017 Dunkirk. You got to see it the superior way. I had to see it the normal way.
Unfortunately for you, yeah.
Yeah.
You saw it on TV. I saw it Well, first I saw it just in a normal like Cinemark XD,
Mm-hmm.
but then I went and I sought out this movie in 70 millimeter film, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, sounds cool. Again, him doing a lot of his what you probably remember more than me. The films about Dunkirk where they had to get how many thousand men?
400,000 men.
400,000 men out of an area which was going to be no good.
They were surrounded by
Yeah.
the enemy, and they were just stuck on the beach.
By like civilian ships mostly.
Right, yes, because they would just sink their big boaties.
So, and based on a true
story.
True story.
This actually happened.
At least the event, the individual stories, maybe not. But
Right,
the
yeah,
event
but
happened.
the event of, them going across.
Again, him doing time where you have multiple characters who each have their stories going on.
You finish your thing, and then I'll say my thought.
That was
about
basically it.
Okay.
They have their thing going on at different times.
We said that Memento was like the best. I like this movie more when it comes to the time manipulation.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Sure. Yeah.
I wanted people to know, because there's the mole, the sea, and the air, and the mole is a week, right?
I don't remember.
I think it's a week. So like during the movie, everything that happens on the mole is throughout the week, and then the sea, everything that happens on the sea with Mark Rylance is a day, and then in the air with Tom Hardy is like an hour.
Wearing another mask.
I know, another mask. He's always in a mask in these freaking Nolan movies. Yeah. And then they all
at some point
like cross over,
but not really. Yeah, they don't, like, the stories don't, but the events do. Yeah.
Right, like, ship burning, and then from the mole perspective, and then ship burning.
Here's the thing:
sky.
This film is also very loud, but this is the only one where, like, it makes sense, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with, in this film, of people's voices being drowned out by the sound mixing, because it's war. That's kind of how it goes. You have bombs going off everywhere. Even with people screaming, you're not going to catch everything. It makes sense for this film. But his other films, it doesn't make sense, because it's like the score is loud. They're sitting in like a cafe talking,
and it's like,
and you can't hear anything, when really it's like birds chirping. But in this film, it was extremely effective. Part of me thinks that people loved it so much in Dunkirk that he did it just the same amount for Tenet, and that's why it turned out so shitty. But in Dunkirk, it's really, really good.
When those planes are diving, it is like, in the theater, I know you unfortunately didn't get that experience, but I literally was like, I'm about to be bombed.
Yeah. Harry Styles is in this.
What a great choice. Christopher Nolan. I saw a thing where he was like, I didn't even know who he was. I just casted him. And I said,
what?
I said, it has to be a lie.
Wow.
This has to be a lie. There's no way. But, I mean, Harry Styles is in a freaking movie? In a war movie?
Right.
At that?
We talked about Tom Holland with The Devil All the Time. Do you think people had the same thing for Harry Styles? That, like, there were One Direction fangirls who were like, Harry Styles in Dunkirk? And you had like a bunch of preteens going to see Dunkirk.
Absolutely.
And coming out being like, I don't know.
Traumatizing war.
Would they be that? Or would they be like, OMG, Harry Styles was so
Harry
cute?
Styles. I mean, he's just a very handsome man.
Yeah, he makes good music.
And, I mean, he's handsome in this movie too. For most of the time. Sometimes it's a little...
Yeah, I feel like
bad things happen.
We talked about Sam Esmail doing #fuckplot, and this movie specifically, especially, even though a lot of Christopher Nolan's movies are like this, it's like #fuckcharacter.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
In this movie, though, it's like, okay, because that's the point.
Right. This movie, all of the things that can usually be negative about the way Christopher Nolan makes movies are turned into positives.
Yep.
Literally. So that's why I think it's his best film, because all of his flaws become good things.
Yep.
It was just a perfect mix. He should just do more war movies, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I don't know about more. I don't know. Maybe. Because Dunkirk is, like, special with, like, having characters that are just, like, people. They, like, don't really matter.
Tell me what he did with a camera and a plane in this movie.
So, Chris Nolan, being Chris Nolan, was like, I don't want to just be a normie.
Right. No, who does?
He said, I want to be a coolie. So, but I also want to shoot this film in IMAX.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, these IMAX cameras that he uses are
Chonkers.
ginormous. They're huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Very hard to get into special places, such as in the sky with planes.
Yeah, the wing on a
But Chris Nolan
authentic
said,
old
you
plane.
know what? We're just going to get a real, authentic plane from World War II, whatever they're called. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
And we're just going to put this camera on the wing.
But it's too heavy. But the plane can't fly right because the camera's too heavy.
Ooh,
Christopher Nolan.
They figured it out.
What did he do?
I don't remember.
He stripped it down to its literally barest bones parts, the only parts it absolutely needed to actually film. So all the plastic and screws taken out completely, stripped it down to its skeleton, and hooked it up and did it that way.
And then just had him fly
And I
around.
just had him fly around. No problem.
Because the dogfight sequences are freaking awesome.
Phenomenal
In this movie.
in this one.
I mean, probably. There's not really many dogfights. I mean, I guess I haven't really seen too many movies like that. But, I mean, it's got to be in the top 3.
Right, yeah, no, it's all great. I also like that it doesn't, maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember feeling like it wasn't trying to, what would you call it, romanticize war at all. It was really always down like, no, this shit sucks, you know? Because sometimes you get it's like the heroic, oh yeah, everything's fine because of whatever, but it's like, no.
Yeah, no, yeah,
It's
there's
all awful.
definitely no heroes in this story specifically.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's literally just all of them they're just trying to survive. They say it at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, we were just surviving, and the guy's like, well, that's enough.
I highly recommend to anybody who hasn't seen it, run to find it.
I also think, funny enough, with the lack of character in this movie, that is actually has the most emotional moment in all of his films. Literally, when the whole movie, you're getting like barraged with this intense, high octane action, and the score is always like like pushing everything forward. And then when the ships finally make it all the way across to get everybody, and everything just like calms down for a second, and the music gets really beautiful, and everyone shows up, and all the soldiers are like cheering and stuff. You get teared up because you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just very much enjoy that.
Those moments never land for me because I just can't help but think about just how disgusting human beings are. I'm just like, I hate that this is something that people are cheering for. It's like, yay, we aren't killing each other anymore. Yay. But that's me. That's a really weird thing where I'm just like, man, people suck.
Yeah. And Mark Rylance is really good in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear you, Pete. I hear you.
So that leaves us one. Then there was one.
Uno Mas movie that Nolan made. Christimepher.
His newest, Christimepher Nolan.
This is where he goes crazy with the time.
Yeah, he cannot help himself, I guess.
He really can't.
But that's what gets me is like, is he playing into it or can he really not do anything else? Or is he like, people know me for the time guy, I got to keep doing it? Or is he just actually obsessed?
I don't know.
Me neither.
We talked about Tenet a little bit
A
already.
little bit. We could talk about it a little bit more, I think.
What do you want to say?
That I can't hear what anybody's saying ever. The set pieces are all very nice, like the plane and the heist at the end.
Plane.
It's
Yeah,
really
the
cool.
end is cool, and the chasing is cool. When he's like on the fire truck and they like
Yeah, and they trap
move
the
the ladder
car.
over. They trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. The reverse entropy stuff still doesn't really make any sense.
Whatever. Who cares?
The best part of this movie to me was the real spoilers now, definitely, was the realization that the hallway fight in this movie, which was also very fun to watch,
Yeah, the hallway fight's good.
wasn't actually a fight. They were both defending themselves at the same time. No, they weren't attacking each other. They were defending themselves at the same time, which is a very interesting idea. It's still weird to think of yourself in that position, though, because you get in a situation like that, and you're like, I know how this goes. I know I'm going to be fine.
Right.
Those things always just make me think. I'm like, you know that you're fine, so, like, why try? Why did you try?
It's weird.
It's very strange.
I don't know.
I guess it's because technically they are happening at the same time. you know?
Yeah.
Even though for him, it happens like hours later. The movie starts, it goes, then it hits a certain point, and then it just goes back to the beginning. Straight back, just like the title says.
Tenet.
Right? I'm trying to remember like what we did say and what we didn't say. We didn't spoil anything, I don't think. So I felt like...
You want to try to explain the movie?
I don't know. I want to say one more thing, though. I personally felt that at the hallway scene the first time, Robert Pattinson's character does something. He sees someone, and we never get to see who he sees, and that like kind of not ruined the rest of the movie for me, but I was like, oh, that's that character. It's like, that has to be this character, because otherwise his actions don't make any sense. And then every time, basically any character vaguely mentioned another character who was like, I saw a woman would say, I saw a woman. I was like, oh, that was her. A man would be like, I saw a man once. Like, oh, that was him from the future. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like every time that popped up, I was like, okay, you did this like 4 times? All right, Chris.
It's funny.
Explain the movie. It opens with a kind of heist thing.
Cool heist scene.
A cool heist. I have no idea who or what anybody was or what was happening at all.
Okay, so John David Washington is like an FBI guy.
Yeah.
And they're trying to stop this terrorist attack.
Mm-hmm.
And in the act of trying to stop this terrorist attack, there's like one of the bullets goes backwards.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's super weird.
Okay, I know all this, but I mean, like, who were the terrorists and why were they?
Oh,
does it just not matter? Yeah. Like,
well, it doesn't.
We know the what. We don't know the any other thing.
Right.
That's what we said. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
he gets his bullet and then he gets
captured.
And he decides to take his cyanide pill and kill himself instead of giving up his
But wait!
friends. Yeah.
It wasn't a real cyanide pill.
Well, it was, actually.
It was faker.
No, remember they said, like, yeah, we reconstructed your face because it was done out by the cyanide pill. And he was like, oh.
Oh, I don't remember that.
No, it was totally real. They just, like, saved him.
Oh. He doesn't die.
Yeah.
And then there's a dude on a boat and he's like, Tenet.
Yeah, the guy from Insomnia.
And John David Washington is like, oh, I know, Tenet.
Yeah.
And then he goes and talks to this girl, and she's like, Tenet.
She's like, don't worry about it, though.
She's like, don't worry about it. Listen, look, pick that bullet up. Don't pick it up. Pretend you dropped it. And he's like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. He's like, how does that work? She's like, seriously, don't worry about it.
And then she's like, you're not shooting the bullet. You're catching it.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what happens right after that?
What does happen right after that?
They do is that when he meets Robert Pattinson and they're going to meet the dudes and they like go up the building?
The side of the scale, but they're meeting the woman. Twist.
Yeah, well, it's the woman. And then they talk to the woman and then they're like, we have to get this painting.
Yeah.
Because the painting is forged, but we have to get the real one. Something like that.
Yeah, because it's blackmail or something.
So they go to the Freeport.
Yeah.
Which, do you know what a Freeport is?
No.
It's really weird. I learned about this.
Okay.
Kind of. I'll try to explain it the best I can. It's like a place where you can like send things. So like in the movie's case, people are sending like their art there or something. So to like have it hold it, they can like hold it there. And it can be like a museum or like whatever they do, but it's like so they can avoid taxes. They
mentioned that in the film, that they were using it as kind of like a tax evasion kind of thing.
How is that?
I don't know.
That's crazy. Like,
because it's a museum.
I want to put my thing in a Freeport.
I guess.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. They
meet the gold lady from the Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
What?
The gold woman who's like, squadron attack. And they're in their little pods. They're the gold people.
Yeah, but who is she in?
She's the main gold woman who's like, Guardians.
No, in Tenet.
Oh, she's the woman. Not the drug dealer woman, but the only other woman.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't mention her. They didn't notice her without all the gold on her face.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, they need to get this painting or whatever. And Robert Pattinson's like, or John David Washington's like, you want to crash a plane? And he's like, Well, not from the air.
Mm.
Don't be so dramatic.
Yeah. It's literally Christopher Nolan saying it, I think.
Yes.
But,
so their plan is to like crash a plane in the building, and during all the chaos and stuff, they're gonna get the picture.
yeah.
But then they end up fighting backwards.
Yeah.
Backwards man.
I'm just going to cut this short here because this is unintelligible. They do it. They meet a Russian guy. The Russian guy's like, I'm evil.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah. And then they work with him. And he's like really chewing. Like he's really doing it.
He is eating up the scenery.
And then he's got the wife. And John David Washington's like, your wife is a nice person. And he's like, okay. And then he gets the transformium or the unobtainium. Yeah. Or whatever it was called.
Plutonium.
Yeah, right. Right, it was just plutonium because that was what was used to make the backwards entropy, reverse entropy kind of stuff. He reverse entropies himself and travels back in time. John David Washington follows him, and they have to save the woman because she got shot in the reverse time. She caught a bullet through her stomach.
Right, yeah. Reverse, which is bad. You can't get shot reverse.
Yeah, and when you go into reverse, you can't breathe forward air, so you have to get your own reversed air, and you have to breathe that air. Because if you try to breathe normal air, you'll choke. Because it won't go through the membrane or something.
It gets really crazy because then also there's like his car crashes.
Yeah,
and his car's on fire. But instead of burning, he's like freezing.
Yeah, it makes him, it, like, frosts him
Which,
up.
like, I do not know how that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
But, we'll just go with it.
And then she gets better, and then she, as a... How does it work again?
What? What part?
I don't know. Because they go back into the boat. He's on the boat. Has a dead man switch, which basically is going to kill everyone. That's the stakes.
The whole world.
Oh, we missed the heist. What happens in the heist?
I just said.
No, yeah, but
And then you cut me off.
Right, but what's with the tower? I forget what. I don't remember. You
What
just
tower?
do it. They blow up and then it rebuilds.
That's at the end.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So we're talking about the end.
I
now?
want to skip. Yeah, because.
Okay, at the end, they have a plan to get the plutonium so that they can save the world because it's literally going to kill everybody.
Yeah, it's like universe stakes.
There's red team, which is
Forward
all
in
going
time.
forward. Their plan is to go like forward to get things, and then there's blue team, which is going backwards.
Yeah.
At the same time, all during this like epic war sequence, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then bunch of crazy shit happens. But they get it, yay. And then Robert Pattinson and John David Washington are like talking, and John David Washington is like, hey, you have that same thing from that other dude. And he's like,
Who's dead?
And he's like, guess what? We are best friends. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I lied to you.
And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, we do this all the time.
Yeah, we have a very long and happy friendship together. And he's like, oh, so for you, this is a goodbye, but for me, it's only the beginning, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's the end for Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the beginning for John David Washington is like, what?
And then he basically is the person who kicks off everything.
Yeah, he's like he is the reason that like everything is happening.
Yeah.
And then like at the very, very, very end, he like saves the girl and kills the old woman.
Right.
And then it just ends.
It just ends, and then it's like.
And then Travis Scott comes in. He's like, I don't mind saying man games. I want to love.
Have you had one yet?
A Travi Patty?
Sure.
No, not yet.
Me neither.
I was thinking about getting one.
Mostly because I saw that and I didn't know who Travis Scott was, so I looked it up, and then I was like, oh, no.
The memes are so funny.
I haven't.
People just like roll up to McDonald's and they're like, you know why we're here, and then they start blasting.
Here's the thing: I looked up Travis Scott, and the first result was Fortnite. And I was like, interesting. Okay.
Yes.
This is an interesting person.
There was the Travis Scott Fortnite concert.
The dead speak. Not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Christopher Nolan. Anything about Christopher Nolan? We talked about all his movies. You got anything?
I think. Let me think. Memento, The Dark Knight, Inception, Dunkirk.
Give me your top 3. What are your top 3 Nolan movies?
Dunkirk, Inception, The Dark Knight. Not in that. Well, I don't know. If favorite's Inception, then probably Dunkirk, then The Dark Knight. But
Oh, you're doing favorites.
if I was, sure, best to be Dunkirk, Inception, Dark Knight. And then entertaining, it'd be Dark Knight, Inception, Dunkirk.
I think I'm going Dunkirk, Interstellar, Dark Knight
Okay. Sure.
for me. And then Inception, number 4.
Yeah. I feel like I guess I don't like Christopher Nolan that much.
But we do though.
No, we do. Honestly, if it's anything, it's like an appreciation. I have such a deep appreciation for the movies he makes. Even if they're not my, it's like Quentin Tarantino for me. I really appreciate both these directors a lot, even if I don't particularly care for their movies mostly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I feel the same way.
Yeah, just, what he does is he's trying to preserve film. He's trying to, he's one of the few, if not like the only filmmaker that can get these like huge budget action original stories made. I mean, he's the only person that can do it and get like the kind of people to get so excited for a movie like this. That's not a pre-existing IP.
He's very as far as big shot Hollywood directors go, he's like very approachable for like a general audience. People can see Chris Nolan and be like, oh yeah, even though he has these kind of higher concept films that he makes, which is a very cool facet about him. I dearly hope that Tenet does not hurt him.
That would be very sad.
Not personally. I mean, personally as well, but also just like as work in the future. I hope it doesn't hamper anything that he has planned just because of how he put it out.
Yeah.
That'd be very sad.
Prediction. What do you think he will blow up next? What will he blow up now?
Like actually real life thing blow up?
What is he blowing up?
That's a tough one.
The International Space Station?
Submarine.
That'd be pretty big.
That would be pretty big.
Interesting. What will Chris Nolan do next?
What? Yeah.
We'll have to wait a few years to find out.
We'll have to wait probably at least 2. At least 2.
Maybe 3.
I don't know, maybe 3.
Maybe 4.
That's I think what's his biggest gap is 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting.
That does it for the spotlight on Christopher Nolan.
Christimepher
Nolan.
Nolan.
Which means it's time for do. Do you have yours?
Oh yeah, my reviews.
That's next, right?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. We know what's going on.
Okay, you want me to go?
Yeah, go first.
Okay, I have like 1.5. I just have a real funny one real quick.
Sure.
It goes in with Christopher Nolan. This is for The Devil All the Time. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's that.
I haven't seen
whatever. Narrator. As the thoughts came, he wasn't sure if he was going backwards or forwards. Christopher Nolan. Haha, nice.
Okay. That's good.
I just think it's funny. Okay, this is the real one. 1 out of 10. One of the most dishonestly overrated films of all time. 1 out of 10. Yes, awful. How can anyone honestly give this film a positive recommendation? It's so amateurish. Whoever wrote the screenplay forgot the story. What story is it? It's not about blank.
Okay.
The famous World War II evacuation.
Okay.
Of the British troops from France.
Okay.
What about the French troops? The British commander says to hell with them. 2 cowards are the focus of the story. They will do anything to get out ahead of everyone else who are patiently waiting, keeping order and waiting their turn. One other is picked up by a civilian boat on its way to rescue troops at Dunkirk, and he fights the crew to not go back.
Jeez.
He kills one of them. Great story.
Was this person there?
I figured they used 5 planes to make the entire film. 3 RAF fighters, 1 German fighter, and 1 German bomber. All classic planes. Why I say this? because they only show 3 RAF fighters in one scene. And then it's always a one-on-one with all the other scenes. The special effects are from the 1950s. I think they did a better job in Wings from 1927.
Actually, you know what? I can attest to that, but finish yours.
Also, it's hard to figure out what they're saying. I missed half the dialogue.
Okay.
But I didn't miss much because it's so worthless of a film. It's aimless, boring, pathetic, and cheap. There is nothing epic about this film. It's a sad joke. What a waste of my money. One of the most overrated films of all time.
Dang. Rough. That guy is very angry. However, I do know what he's talking about because there actually is one shot in Dunkirk that is CGI that is very poor. And that is when a ship is firing its cannons and it is CG and it doesn't look great. But it's literally one shot. It's probably like 7 seconds max. But some ships fire a cannon.
I think I remember that.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably what he's talking about. You probably saw the 7-second clip. You're like, oh my gosh. Whatever. Mine is, I'll just try to skip the parts that give it away.
I tried.
It is far from an original concept, and the plot closely resembles Swiss cheese. It quite simply does not warrant the praise given it, which I suspect is heavily weighted by the 15-21 male demographic. See Bottle Rocket. Okay, whatever. If you don't get it because it is so mind-blowing, wait until you grow up and understand that being confused by the story doesn't indicate clever writing. I can't stress enough. Save your vote until puberty is over. At the very least, commit to a second viewing before casting. Resist the temptation to fall into the pit of hype. Watch Groundhog Day instead.
That has to be for Inception.
It's for Memento.
Oh,
Way back in the day. That's for Memento.
Sorry.
I know. Save your vote.
Wow.
Until puberty is over.
Save your vote until puberty, everybody.
Come on, guys. I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say to that one.
I don't know either.
I just saw
That's
that.
hilarious.
I saw that quote and I thought it was too funny to pass up.
I agree.
Okay. Well, we got 2 emails today. Where can you send an email, Nick?
You can send an email to us right here at thestaglerpod@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. What's up?
Email questions, comments, concerns, recommendations. We'll take it all.
We'll take it all.
We have one coming in today. Hey guys, I'm a big fan of Excuse me.
Sorry. I was saying hi.
Hey guys, I'm a big fan of the Marvel movies and some of DC. I know they're not perfect, some might not even be that good, but it's fun seeing my favorite superheroes on the big screen. However, an unfortunate side effect is that they have conditioned me to always sit through the credits in hopes of an end credit scene. Though I know the credits truly let you know how many people and how much effort it took to make this movie, I've developed a habit of doing 2 things. 1, finding my own name, and 2, finding out who the best boy is. I still have no idea what the best boy is. Do you guys have any particular credits quirks if you end up sitting through them? And how do you feel about mid-end credit scene in general? I don't know if you're asking what a best boy is, but there's I think there's 2 types. There's like best boy grips and best boy like electric, and they work with like the key grip or the gaffer. They're kind of like production leads almost. It's not important. Don't worry about it.
They help.
They're best. I don't know why they're called best boys though.
I don't know. It's cool though.
Gaffers because of like sailing. It's based off of like sailing.
You gotta find.
That's where it
you
comes
just gotta
from.
be the best boy.
And best boy, I don't know. And also, are girls best boys or are they best girls?
No, they definitely best boys.
Okay. Do you guys have any particular credit quirks? Well,
Let's do the second one first.
okay.
How we feel about credit scenes.
Sure.
I like them.
Yeah, I mean, I think mid-credit scenes are kind of annoying. I don't know why.
I could maybe low-key get behind that.
Because I get it when they have like the really animated credits and then those end, they do the scene and then they do the regular rolling credits and then they do a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just find the mid ones kind of annoying because they always feel like not important. It's just like, oh, here's another thing. So you stay to the end. It's like people are too impatient to wait the whole time. So just stay. Here's a little bit and then wait some more. End credit scenes are fun.
I prefer the end credit scenes to be just like something stupid.
Yeah.
Like 2 of the best end credit scenes ever.
Okay.
One of them is in Zombieland 2.
Oh, yes. That is pretty good.
The end credit scene of Zombieland 2, if you have not seen it,
Yeah.
is absolutely hilarious.
It is.
And then the other one, which this one had me rolling.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Which I haven't seen.
You want me to tell you what happens?
You've told me what it is.
Oh, I have.
Yes, you have.
So this, you get rickrolled. You literally get rickrolled at the end of this movie.
Through all of that.
It's so funny.
Oh, jeez. That is pretty good.
Okay, yes, the first question.
First question, credits, quirks. Well, here's the thing. If you end up sitting through them, you say, personally, we always do sit through the credits. I like to see who works on it. Sometimes I see a name that I wasn't expecting, and I'll be like, oh, that person worked on this. And I just like to appreciate the people who make films. You see certain names pop up more, and you kind of get a feel for it. I do also look for my name too. I'm just like, oh, that guy has my name.
Yep.
Cool. But I don't think I have any other.
We do actually, and you're not thinking of it.
Oh, craft services.
We have two then.
We have two because we always look for craft services.
We always look for the craft services.
Who is the people who feed the crew, the cast and crew.
Right.
It's craft
Very
services.
important.
Very important.
But also,
another
thing we do is we usually, when we see a movie together, we come up with our own after credits scene that usually involves Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, you're right.
Coming up to the main
right.
character and telling them that he's assembling a team.
Yeah, exactly. We can't help ourselves. Literally any movie, we just pick someone. It's like, who would he assemble for this movie? I guess we do that.
We do that for almost every movie.
I totally missed that, and it's funny every time.
It is really funny.
So for some reason, did we do it for Roma?
We probably did.
We're
did. Just like Sam Jackson walks up to her and he's like assembling a team.
We do it for anything, and it always gets me every single time.
It is very funny.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you. That was a good laugh.
We got another one coming in. Hope you dudes and Marilyn, that's sweet, are doing well. Marilyn, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
She's doing well. As spooky season approaches, I found myself wading deeper into the Silence of the Lambs franchise. I absolutely love the original movie, but I admit I have some very mixed feeling about Red Dragon as well as the Hannibal TV series.
How funny is that?
How funny is that? We talked about, I saw Red Dragon before even getting this email. We talked about Insomnia, which had very Silence of the Lambs vibes. Perfect. How perfect is this?
Unbelievable.
I was curious if you guys had any hot takes about the show or any other films in the franchise. I'd love to get a different perspective. Keep killing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hot takes? I don't think I have any hot takes. I have an interesting tidbit. I love cooking. I do. I love to do that.
Human flesh?
No. But I was looking for a way to get new, like this was like a couple years ago.
Okay.
I wanted to either get a cookbook or something. I wanted a way to find new recipes easily, right? And I thought, it's a little old-fashioned, but maybe I'll subscribe to a cooking magazine, right?
Very nice.
And so I kind of looked some up. I'm like, oh, there's quite a few to choose from. And I hadn't really decided. And then I bought the Criterion collection of Silence of the Lambs. And
I have that also.
I got it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to rewatch it. Haven't watched it in a long time. Let's go. And guess what Hannibal Lecter reads? He reads the magazine Bon Appetit. So I said, you know what? I'm going to subscribe to Bon Appetit, and I've been subscribed for about a year now. I've got a 2-year subscription. I'm going to re-up it soon. So
this is amazing.
Silence of the Lambs is what got me to subscribe to Bon Appetit for like, $12 a year or something. It's very cheap.
Amazing.
So there's that little tidbit. I understand you having mixed feelings about Red Dragon. I get it, especially when you compare them. Like, I get it. I've heard Hannibal is worse, which is a sequel to Silence of the Lambs. I've heard it's much worse.
I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Hannibal Rising, which I talked about, where he gets a katana and has sex with his aunt. Nice. Very strange one.
Nice.
Hannibal TV series never checked out, but I've always been meaning to. Mads Mikkelsen.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I hear really good things, but
I have wanted to see that for a while now.
He says mixed feelings about it, so I don't know. I don't know how you feel, but I would check it out if I
I will
get
definitely
around
in
to
the
it,
future sometime. I got probably 6 shows.
Do you have any takes about Silence of the Lambs in general? Is there something you don't like, or?
I do not have a take because Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite movies.
Perfect.
So I mean, I would probably in my top 10 ever.
Yeah, I mean, I just say that it's super. I see its influence in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
One of our favorite shows ever, Mr. Robot, has an episode that has a very similar scene to a scene in Silence of the Lambs, with 2 characters, Trent and Mobley specifically. There's a scene with them which kind of takes directly from that, and I'm sure it was not an accident because it's very, very similar.
Right.
So you see its inspiration everywhere, and it's very cool to point out that it's such this influential film. Yeah, exactly. Fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hello, Clarice.
And then he became the Pope.
I know.
Good for Hannibal
Great
Lecter.
for Hannibal.
Great for him.
Really stepping up in the world.
He's going places, that kid. And that just about...
Hold up.
Okay.
I just thought of something. Just because we were on Silence of the Lambs.
All right.
I think Silence of the Lambs has one of the best, oh shit moments.
Oh shit.
When this is after he, kills both the guys and, when he's in that big cell and he, kills both the dudes.
Yeah.
And they're storming the building. They're we need to get Hannibal or whatever. And the blood is coming through the elevator. And they think it's Hannibal. And then it, cuts back to the ambulance. And he sits up.
Yeah.
And you're oh, he put his face on. And then, yeah, I love that
cool.
moment. A great moment.
Good job, Jonathan Demme, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good job. That about
is now
wraps it up for the show. Next episode, it will be October, but we have some ideas planned for some spookier spotlights going on.
Mm-hmm.
But something else has kind of happened recently. What's been going on recently? What's kind of...
Sports have made a triumphant return.
Sports have returned. I watched the Lakers game last night. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Go Miami Heat.
Go Bubble. I love the Bubble.
Bubble's cool, yeah.
Bubble's cool.
Football's back.
Yeah, I'll say
back.
I always want to talk about the next spotlight before we get there. I'm too anxious to get to it. I have so many things to say about sports in general.
We're talking about sports movies.
We're talking about sports movies. I mean, we'll talk about a handful. I don't know how many we're going to talk about. We haven't thought.
Just
about
prepare
that
to be bombarded with Moneyball.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to be, the Moneyball episode.
Literally,
because that was in both of our top 10.
Moneyball is literally a top 5 movie ever for me personally.
It is a fantastic film. Highly recommend it to everybody. So, that could be some homework for you guys. Before next episode,
watch Moneyball.
Go watch Moneyball.
Listen, I think it's on Netflix in a week or something like that.
Really?
I think it's coming to Netflix either in a week or really soon. So there's no excuse.
Look into it, guys. Because the weeks are coming and they don't stop coming.
And they don't stop coming.
And they hit the ground running is the next one.
And they don't stop coming.
Okay. We'll see you then, everybody. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay vibrant, stay cool, stay...
We snap, snap, so.
Yeah. Yep. Goodbye.